Welcome into the Camister Podcast, episode number 272, baby.
Yoink!
Happy New Year. Listen, it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. And I'm feeling good, Cam. I feel very refreshed and ready to get back at it. I hope you had a nice break. Hope everybody else out there had a nice break.
That was a welcome back yoink, just so everybody knows. And, I'm glad we're back, man. We missed everybody. Like, Andy and I, like, the past 2 weeks, were like, fuck, kind of twiddling our thumbs a little bit. Everybody else is doing a couple things here and there. We're like, fuck me, man. We miss you guys. We miss doing this. There's a lot to get into, but I hope you guys had a good time, a good break. We did. I had a good time, man.
Yeah, no, I had a great break. Your hands look like they grew.
Again?
Hey, your hands look bigger.
Like, look at that. Look at that.
Is that like
Andre the Giant? You ever see that picture of Andre the Giant?
Is that a 7-ounce can that you're holding there?
It's regular. It's
the,
regular.
The small cans? You ever drink the small cans?
No, I don't. The small little sodas.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I crushed soda like we had like Christmas at our house.
So bad for you.
It's so god awful. But I don't drink soda much because I drink beer a lot. And like, you know, some people in our family drink soda, like the kids and stuff like that, our nieces. And they left all the soda at our house. And I'm like, I get my mind right. And I'm like going through the pantry and I'm like, I'm fucking starving. And I went out there and I crushed like 4 Cokes in a row.
Oh
like,
my God.
Bam! I'm like, God, is that good? And I'm like, bam! Drinking Coke like it's fucking beer.
Hey.
And you get a little like buzz from the sugar, and it's really good.
You get a buzz from it.
Like
Really?
an energy, like sugar high.
Cam's like, I'm Pepsi drunk.
I'm Pepsi high right now. But I crush soda, man. Like,
hey,
God.
listen, soda is
god awful.
It's very addictive. It's very bad for you. You should never allow your kids to drink it. First off.
I never drink soda.
So
as
like
a
when
kid.
the kids come over to your house, you should be like, no, let's not drink soda today.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No, you might want to do that.
No, because they could do what they want, and I'm not going to be like, well, I know what's good for you. No, everybody knows soda's shit, but the girls are going to drink fucking soda.
Let me say this: when you don't drink soda, and then you try it or you drink it for the first time in a long time, it is damn good.
What do you think I just said?
Oh well, I'm saying
like
the same
you don't
thing.
listen to what I tell you.
Well,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's damn good.
Yeah. So I wanted to hammer home the point.
Then I'm like, gluh, gluh, gluh.
I'm evaluating you today.
I got hiccups, man.
You got a new scarf. It looks like a couch.
I got a new scarf.
Like my friend would have, like back in the.
It's getting cold out here
Back in
Missouri. It's going to snow today, too,
Ooh.
by the way. A little snowy
No,
poo.
not today.
It's going to snow today.
No, I think
it's
tomorrow.
Starting, no.
You,
Start,
you don't even know the forecast.
It's going to fucking
tomorrow,
snow today.
I think is when it's
It's
going to
start. It's going to start. You want to bet on it?
How much?
50 fucking bucks,
Because
boy.
well,
$50.
all right, but in order for you to win, it's got to be like at least 5 inches.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my
Why?
life. It's just going to snow.
No, because that's a snowfall.
No, it's just going to snow.
Like a dusting is not a. That's not like a snowfall.
It's going to snow. It's not going to stick, but it's going to snow. So we bet $50 on that, and you're going to lose.
I didn't agree to that.
I know you didn't. That's why you never bet. Don't even start gambling.
Oh my God!
Don't even start.
You know, I've got a
gambling.
very addictive personality.
So do I. Like, see, of course, everything I have, he had. He's the addict now. All the shit I went through, Andy takes it. Even the bad things that I fucking have in my soul, Andy wants it. Andy wants to take credit for my addiction.
Okay,
now.
so if I listen,
Get out of here with that.
these
shit.
I know lots of people. I'm sure you do too. And I don't know what goes on down like where you live, if they're into this or not. But I know a lot of people that are really into gambling. Cam, they gamble
time.
nonstop,
Yeah.
including Maddie back there.
You're a big gambler, Maddie?
Yeah.
It's not good.
Hey, listen, all y'all. Here's the conversation I walk into. When I walk into the studio, it's a new year. It's 2024. Our first show of 2024, and Cam's like, well, you got to be really skilled to play hockey on Xbox. You got to be really skilled. On Madden, you just don't have to be very skilled. But on Xbox, you got to be really skilled to play the hockey. That's what's happened to this guy.
So what?
I mean, over the course of what happened to you?
Dude, he's a gamer.
Well, he should be.
So you're kind of chirping both of us right now.
No.
Like
No.
right when I walk in here, we talk about GTA 6. We talk about all kinds of different video games. That I was a big time gamer, which you're not, which is fine. You got kids. That's what it is. So now you're coming in and you're acting cool. And we had a little conversation. You show up late as usual, and you come in like, what the hell are you guys talking about? No, you're chirping me, but you're chirping fucking Maddie too. So
I'm not chirping
Go
Maddie.
fuck yourself.
I'm not chirping Maddie.
No, you are.
You were the
You're
one
tying
doing
both
the
of us together.
talking. You were the one doing the talking.
I will say this.
Mm-hmm. Well, explain what you were saying.
It doesn't matter. But I will say this.
See?
I watched, if you guys know the story, and we're going to get into hockey, Bedard, all this stuff. There's stuff going on. We're going to get into it. But I did watch Now, there's a movie in 1993 called Alive, and it's about
One of my favorite movies ever.
What's it about?
The guys in the plane, they ate flesh.
There you go. Good job, Andy.
You
Good
know-
for you. So now there's a new Netflix not series, but a movie, new Netflix movie
Rugby
about
team,
it.
I believe.
It's a rugby team out of Uruguay. That's like they took this little charter and they were going over the Andes Mountains through Argentina to get to Brazil to play another game. And they took a weird way. It was very foggy. Their plane got clipped in the Andes Mountains. They fucking dived down. They're stranded in a little mountain range, in a valley in a mountain range for 71 days in the 70s. And it was fucking horrific. Now, the 93 movie with, there's a couple guys that we know. Ethan Hawke, I believe, is in it. But it doesn't do it justice. This one, now it's all Spanish, so you got to really read the caption.
Okay, well, that's going to be hard.
I like doing that
You
because
gotta
it's all
read the
dialogue.
whole
Yeah, but there's
time?
not a lot of action going on, so you can read the dialogue.
Why is
Andy.
it a Spanish movie?
Why do you think?
Well, I mean, they didn't make like an English version. They just
No, they did in 1993, but this is a Netflix series. But this is
Netflix Spanish.
yeah,
version.
and they speak Spanish down there. So anyway, if you never heard the story, it's fucking
True story.
It's, yes, big time true story. Happened in the 70s. They crash. Not all of them survive, but a big chunk of the guys survive. But they survived 71 days in the most horrific atmosphere you could possibly imagine. I mean, they're stuck in this snow, but they're in this little the jet cut in half. So they're in the main area, the like where the pilot sits to like maybe halfway through where the plane is, got cut in half there. So they're all crammed in. They try to seal it up as much as possible. They're all sitting there like this, like for days, like, oh God, and the wind's coming, and it's like, it's not like sealed up, so the fucking wind's hitting them. They don't have that much to wear. Like,
didn't they make a fire or something, or
not really. They didn't make a fire. You
So
couldn't even make a
people
fire. There's
died.
no woods.
People died on the plane, right?
Yeah, people
So
died.
That's who they were eating.
Well, people died on the plane, then they died afterwards. And one little cut, you get infected, man. And so anyway, like some of the time they're sitting
Torture,
there.
man.
They're like this, like all you do is sleep. You're just like, "Gugh." You couldn't even go outside because there's fucking terrible, there's 70-mile-an-hour winds. There's blizzards coming, and they're in this little valley. And sometimes they're sitting there like, oh, God, help, help. And all of a sudden, everything's rumbling like, what the fuck? Well, bam! All this fucking avalanche comes down, rocks them. Then they hear it again. Another avalanche comes down, buries them. Now they're buried in this thing. They got to crawl out of it. And then at the end, and there's so much more to it, but at the end, people are dying off. But these rugby players were fucking tough, and they stuck together, and they didn't really fight. Like, usually when you're in a jam like that, I'm the leader. You listen to me. No, we got to do this. They didn't really. They were team oriented, and they played it the right way. They took their time. They fixed the radio. They did a couple things. They were actually really, really smart. But then two guys at the end, because they heard the radio, and they're like, we stopped looking for flight, blah, 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 with the rugby team.
Said
They
that
heard
on
that.
the radio.
And they heard it. And so like, okay, we got shit
You think
to do.
that's for Hollywood?
No, this is this is in the book
What's
and
the
everything.
Spanish version of Hollywood? Do you know? Like
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Don't distract me. So anyway, at the end, these two fucking guys said, fuck it. They made little snowshoes. They took all the flesh from most of the people. They're cutting off rib flesh and everything. Meanwhile, like if Andy died on that thing, it'd just be a big waste of time because they'd be like cutting up nothing because he doesn't have any fucking muscle on his body. Although Andy would be good because he wouldn't want to eat that meat, so it wouldn't have to waste
If you
any.
remember, I've asked you several times, would you eat a human?
Oh, yeah, if you had to, I'd do anything.
Like what? Like the thigh or something?
Do anything at
You
that
think
point.
it tastes like chicken?
You
or
wouldn't even
something?
know at that point. Your taste buds are so fucked up at that point.
Were they able to remember somebody? If I remember correctly, because I watched this movie, one of the very few movies I've ever watched, Cam, and that I remember. A great movie.
A lot. This one's better.
Oh, you watched it already?
Yeah. Why am I? I'm talking
well,
about
I didn't know if you had watched it yet.
No, it's long and it goes way into more detail than
So it's not a
1993.
series. It's a movie.
It's a 3-hour movie,
Okay,
but it gets
so I'll watch
it
it.
shows you the steps that they
Didn't
took.
somebody on the plane start stealing the snacks?
Maybe.
No, they started eating like all the snacks, and like
that happens when you're in
they
panic
they
mode.
had a little bit of food, and somebody got caught. Like,
Yeah, but that food's gone in 2 seconds.
so did anybody survive it?
Yes, 12 people survived.
Are they still alive today?
Yes. Well, I don't know. Maybe they died off today. It was in the 70s. But no, that was a big deal, and they all became. So anyway,
Famous.
how it ended was two guys like, we can't just fucking sit here. You heard the plane going by, but it missed them. You heard it like months before or weeks before. So two guys like, fuck this. We know where Chile is. We're going west towards Chile. We're closer to Chile.
Beautiful place.
Chile's awesome, but you're going through the Andes Mountains. So they climb the mountain. They trek 12 miles through mountain ranges. These two guys, they're freezing cold. Their shoes are all broken apart. And finally, they get to an open valley where there's no snow, and they see this guy on a horse. And they're like, we're the rugby team.
For real?
We're the rugby team.
2 guys left the rest of the pack?
And they trekked in the most hardcore conditions for days and days and days, miles and miles through fucking hardcore Andes Mountains. And they finally saw a guy on horseback, a Chilean. And he's like, oh my, rugby team. And so they went back. They brought helicopters back and saved the rest of the crew. That's fucking hardcore. That's a true story. That's a team. They came together and they're fucking helping each other and they survived. Check that mug out on Netflix. That's what I watch. Pretty cool. But hardcore. Hardcore.
Just in the future, it's not a big deal. I'm just telling you, like all y'all, like especially my people out there that are listening right now in
who are your people?
Saskatchewan and
who are your people?
Alberta.
Who are your people?
Montana.
Who
Idaho.
Who listens to Andy
PEI,
and says, that's my guy?
PEI.
Who is that?
Well, the shit kickers probably. You got to tighten that story up, dude. That was a little
too long.
A little too long.
All right, my bad. Because I chirp you.
Because if I was doing that, if I had that long, you'd be like, okay.
Dude, it's fucking hardcore, man.
Yeah.
You trek through the mountains. You're eating your fucking buddies. You're eating your buddies, and you have to trek through fucking hypothermia, fucking mountains, avalanches. God, the most horrific atmosphere possible. No, that's a big deal.
That's a
and
huge
I told the
deal.
story.
No, I know.
5 minutes.
I'm glad
Go
you told it
yourself.
because it's very relatable.
You tell stories about your life. That's god awful. I'm telling stories about something that happened, and it's on Netflix so everybody can enjoy and watch it and realize how hardcore that story was. That's what I do. And you got something to say about your backyard?
Well,
did
it's
you do
looking
anything,
nice right now, although all the snow melted. We had a
exactly.
snowman back there the other day. Hey, do you think it's rude to ask somebody if they're wearing a toupee?
Yeah, goddamn. What,
Okay.
Are you dumb?
Well, I'm just curious if you thought
Why would you
that
do
would
that?
be crossing the. I've never done that.
You don't chirp people with
Well,
bald
'cause
people.
we've
It's like
been-
chirp people and they're fat.
No,
like, you don't do that.
We've
dude.
been through that before.
If you chirp
we've
me,
had a
it's fine.
sponsor.
You can do
but-
that with me.
No, I just know somebody that asked somebody else. I didn't
It's
really.
gutless.
Yeah, gutless.
Fucking gutless.
And I told him that.
Would you do that to a woman?
Would I?
Would you ask a woman if she's wearing a toupee? If she was bald, you'd be like, "Fuck no." But you're gonna do it to a
No,
guy? What's the difference?
I would never do that. I would never ask another.
No.
I know people who wear hair pieces, but it's not something you would ever bring up to them.
No, you don't do that.
So I know somebody who did that recently, and I just told him I felt like that was probably crossing the line. You shouldn't do that.
It's gutless.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the world either. Like if you're chirping somebody for being obese, I say that's worse. But people are self-conscious about their bald head. Why do you think I wear a fucking hat every day?
Yeah.
Because I'm self-conscious.
I forget.
You guys can chirp me
forget
because
that
I'm
you're even bald. I forget about it.
Yeah, my
because
back.
you always have the hat on.
Yeah. Like, so that's why I wear a hat. Thank you, Andy. But that's why I wear a hat. Because, like, if you want to chirp me for being bald, I don't give a fuck. Like, look, I live a good life, man. It's all good. And I make fun of myself about it. But a regular person that's maybe young and he's losing his hair and he's already, like, self-conscious and he's trying to wheel vagina at the bar and the girls are, like, evaluating him and the first thing they look at is your receding hairline or the cul-de-sac in the back of your head. Or
Do you know a lot of women wear like fake hair, like
Mhm.
extensions and
Yeah.
stuff like that? Remember I asked if Kate got a haircut because her hair in that picture was like behind her. It was like in a hood.
Kate doesn't wear extensions.
No, I know.
Jesus fucking
So
Christ.
listen. No, there was a
God.
picture, and I said, I said, did she get her hair cut? Because her hair looked really short, but it was just the picture. Her hair was like in the back of her coat. So
Andy would do that.
I couldn't tell. But you can ask that. Did you get a haircut? That's another way of asking it sometimes.
because Maddie got a haircut. The first thing I came in, I said, "You look good,
Looks
man."
great. Maddie's got
Look damn
Maddie's
good.
got a new haircut. Before we get into some things, I'm just curious how your Christmas was and everything. And
Chris is
oh,
good.
thank you for the gift.
Yeah, I hooked Andy up, and then Andy had to scramble to give me a gift afterwards. It's so funny, man. Like it's so
no, I
fucking
already
funny.
had it, dude.
It's so funny.
I already had it.
and I don't pick the like. It's
Hey,
all good.
You had nothing to do with
no,
it.
like Kate makes everything. Yeah, but like she knows that that's what we do.
Yeah,
Like,
but
we're gonna take care of the
you-
people that take care of me.
You didn't go out and get
Andy's
it for
part
us.
of that. And like I hook Andy up and whatnot, and people that I work with, because I work with him, and that's what you do. And Andy sees it, he's like, "Son of a bitch!" He scrambles and then goes out and gives me a gift card at Andy Guns, which is nice of you. I appreciate that. So yeah, no, my Christmas was fine.
That's probably the best gift you got. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. See?
Oh no, I got a goddamn. Man, my parents, my Kate's parents, hook. They know how to give. Gifts out, man. They truly do. I got an espresso machine I've been talking about.
Really?
Yeah, a little fucking
like
bam,
a little guy or like a big
bam,
a big one or
big dog where I can get like cups full of it and shit
really?
like that. Yeah, the little things.
Have you used it yet?
God, what do you think? Getting up at 4:30?
Well, you put your soda in there. I mean, this guy's been drinking soda for 2
I
weeks.
crushed like 7 sodas in a row.
Oh my God! Dude.
Bam! I was like on a sugar high like a child.
You probably put on some weight.
It's like doing like fucking line of Coke. Seriously.
No pun intended.
Not, which is, I don't know what's worse for you, to be honest with you.
Soda or Coke?
I know.
Like if you had the option, say, if you said, hey, if you had a line of cocaine or if you had a soda.
What do you think?
And you said, okay, one of these is worse for you than the other. It may not be the answer you think it is.
It's the Coke because you don't know what's in that mug.
Well, if you do know what it's in. You don't know what's in the
pure
Coca-Cola.
cocaine, it's probably better for you.
Do you know that you can use Coca-Cola for like to clean engines?
Yeah.
Toilets.
The acid, no shit. And you know how Coke started back in the early 1900s?
Now, I probably do.
Huh?
I probably
It had a little bit of cocaine in that mug.
Did it?
Yeah.
Is that why they call it Coke?
I don't think so.
You know, if they started
Coke
that
is a slang
company
term.
today, they would never call it Coke.
No, yeah, maybe not.
No, they wouldn't.
Maybe not. But it's so that's the biggest brand in the world, one of them, and so they have to keep it. But Coke, back in the early 1900s, had a little bit of that coca leaf in there and got you going a little bit.
Can I ask you? I've been following this like political guy. I'm not getting political on the show.
Well, hey, don't, because I got like.
No, because people get very mad at Cam when he talks about politics.
No. So 98% people, they're like, fucking A. But that 2%, there's a couple people that fucking bashed me the other day. And we've been gone for weeks, man. Like, I felt like we haven't done this in a long time. Two people got really mad at me. I forgot what it was for.
Really?
Yes,
because
dude.
of the stuff. I know.
What was it?
I think I got the email and I shared it with you.
You brought in a fucking mask to fucking troll me. See what happens? Here, can I tell you guys something real quick? Can I tell you what
I had some sniffles.
No, can I tell you what happens? Andy comes in with a goddamn mask on, trolling the fuck out of me. Does it on purpose. Then I start talking about masks. And I'm like, they don't work. But they do work. But with COVID, obviously that was debunked. And that's what I was talking about. And I had a guy say, I'm never listening again.
Oh, my God.
I'm never listening again
to you guys. I hope he's listening right now.
I know.
Can you talk to him?
His name's Dwayne. Dwayne, I'm talking to you. I looked up his stuff. I go, I'm trying to message him. Like, dude, I'm sorry.
He won't respond.
He won't respond.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, dude,
Dwayne,
I'm
please.
an open mind. Like, I just was, Andy did that to troll me. And then the other guy that got mad at me, and I'm thinking, what did I say? And Andy's like, so Andy gets mad whenever somebody gets mad at me. And he's like, hey, this guy, look what he's mad at you. And I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, what am I talking about there? It was because you came in and brought something else up, and then I started talking about it.
You're blaming me for this? I mean, you got to be accountable.
Dude, you come in here with a mask on. You know I'm going to talk about masks. Mm-hmm. The other thing was
I had some sniffles.
You asked me about the president of Penn and Harvard.
Yes.
And so we started talking about that.
Harvard has since resigned, too. I didn't know she was plagiarizing.
You know, funny how that works.
What is she plagiarizing? Everything.
Test scores and stuff like that.
And they found that out?
Yeah. She's been doing it for a while.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the political...
So you kind of set me up.
I know. Well, I apologize.
And listen, why are you taking me... I don't even have notes down. We shoot this shit for 3 fucking hours. And like I don't have kids. I do my homework on everything. I read about all.
And
that's my opinion.
It's not even planned.
It's my fucking opinion.
It's not even planned.
And you know what? If you know more about masks than me, then tell me. And I'm like, yeah, I get you, buddy. Like, okay, I get you. That's fine.
Listen, Dwayne, I'll talk to Dwayne. Let me deal with
He's
this.
a top fan too.
Oh my God, Dwayne, please,
dude. Like some people, I'm
Were
like,
you
go
losing
fuck your
sleep over
I
it?
fucking was rattled.
Okay, well, that's understandable.
I was rattled about that. Like, so that's why I wish we could have like some sort of but like I'm going off the.
Can you send me his info?
Yeah,
I know. I'd like to reach out to him.
He's a top fan.
Well, he's one of my.
I go, God damn, Dwayne.
He's one of my. I can talk. to him.
Andy's trying to troll. He knows I'm going to say some shit, and so like I'm sorry about that.
Hi. Well, now I'm scared to even say this because listen, I am nonpartisan. Cam.
I don't know what you are.
No, I don't know if you knew that.
You don't have an opinion on it.
No, I don't know if you knew that. But there's this one political figure that's out there that I don't even know if I agree with anything that he's about because I don't even know. But I like his banter and how he interacts with these reporters. He just speaks 1,000 miles an hour.
Vivek?
Hold on. He speaks 1,000 miles an hour. He doesn't like stutter. It's like, this guy is like, is he like a real person? Did they make him like he's like
Who?
Vivek?
Well, okay, yeah, he's a billionaire.
Is he?
Fuck yeah.
From what?
Fucking started all these different companies up, man. Yeah, he's Eastern Indian too.
Is he not?
He's a minority.
Is he not?
He's fucking great.
Does he not have like a political?
No, he's
career?
anti-establishment. No.
Really?
No.
See, those are my type of people.
Yeah, I know.
Because
he's loud.
I don't like the politicians.
Listen, and people are like, Vivek's too much. Well, yeah, because right now you have to be loud.
He wrote a book.
You have to be loud. He's going against Nikki Haley too, and stuff like that. And I get it, man. And you know what? I look at it like, if the fucking establishment likes somebody on the Republican Party, that's like a sign.
What's an
like,
establishment? Who's the establishment?
The fucking Democrat, like when
Everybody
both sides
else.
are like, we like this guy. And I'm like,
okay, so I'm not the only one then.
Vivek's great, man. He's a little hardcore.
No.
Do I agree with everything he says? No.
He's funny.
But he's fucking smart. Debate him.
I don't think
I
I'd
dare
want to
any
do
of you
that.
guys debate Vivek,
I
dude.
could probably handle it. I wouldn't recommend you do that.
Fuck, he'd own all our lives, man. I know guys I work with right now that would own all you guys.
He's a professional arguer. Some people
He's
are
great.
very good at it.
I like him, man. I would
so
vote
he goes
for him.
after that Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
But he also said that if all these states, if they want to keep Trump off the ballot, that he says he's pulling out. He won't. He wants to go head to head against Trump.
Well, like if Trump does something, put him in jail. Like do you do anything
Well,
illegal? Put him in jail. Isn't that easy? Like put him in jail.
That's a separate topic.
No, it's the same.
All I'm saying is
same thing.
this guy Vivek. He was just on the campaign. Vivek. Well,
Ramaswamy.
Depends who you talk to. My neighbor.
You don't talk to anybody.
I talked to Praveen. He told me that it's Vivek.
Whatever. It's
so,
all good.
So Cam's like, it's Vivek. Nah, it's not what my...
It doesn't matter.
That's not what my friends tell me.
Okay.
So is it okay if I call him Vivek? You know who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he was just on the campaign trail in Iowa.
Yeah. He's everywhere, dude.
Well, he was in Iowa, and he let these reporters...
I know he did. Why do you denounce white supremacy? The fuck do you mean? Of
No,
course.
Why can't he say yes?
He did.
No, why can't he just say...
Because it's a gotcha
but
question. White
turned-
supremacy? No shit.
Okay,
Where
no,
is white? Where's it at, though?
He said that it was a gotcha question.
It is,
and he
completely.
Kind of turned it around on...
Of course it is. He denounces any kind of fucking racism. Anything.
But he was like, how do you define it? That's like kind of like what those institutional presidents were saying when they were asked the same question. Just answer the damn question.
Yeah, and he did. And he did a pretty damn good job.
Well,
and that's why it went viral. And here's another thing. Like, I hate when politicians think they're above going on podcasts. Podcasts are the fucking name of the game
So he
now.
goes on podcasts?
No one even gives a fuck about news network bullshit. When you go on fucking 3-hour podcasts where you aren't just a 20-minute little thing where no one can counter you, where you sit there with either a Joe Rogan or a fucking Patrick Bet-David or whoever, and they sit for 2 hours like we do with people, and you have a legit conversation where you go back and forth, and you could counter, you could have your rebuttal. Wait a minute, we're here for a while. That's the healthiest thing going. Podcasts are the healthiest thing going.
So whose podcast did he do?
Oh, God, he does everybody's.
Rogan?
And you know what? Yeah. Well, not yet, but he's been on a ton of other ones. He doesn't say no to anybody. And
Is he married, kids?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And actually, DeSantis, who I like too, he did a great job in Florida. And I know people are like, Cam, well, whatever. Like, convince me otherwise, okay? You want me to fucking vote for Biden? Like, you got to convince me a little bit more to vote for Biden over DeSantis. Hold on. But DeSantis snubbed at the beginning, and he's run a terrible campaign so far. Fucking terrible. And I like him. But
he snubbed.
He didn't do any pod. He said no to all that shit. And he just goes up to the fucking Hannity or whatever.
Yeah, because he knows
exactly.
Like his people.
That's his safe zone.
Safe zone.
There
His
it is.
people are probably, verifying the questions. They kind of know what's going to be asked.
Yeah,
They're
that's
prepping him.
bullshit.
When you go on some of these podcasts,
Or a political podcast is what's going to happen.
you don't know what you're going to be asked.
Well, you're going to have a conversation, and you're going to let everything out.
Well, those guys, those professional politicians, they can't have conversation. They're
Vivek
not.
can. Oh,
Who?
he's not a professional Vivek. He's
Are you gonna keep saying that?
yeah. I'm going to have my way, and you have your way.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. It's all good. But no, but you have podcasts are the name of the game, and if you really want to see how people react and think to certain topics, you have to have a long
On the
form,
fly, man.
Yeah, a long form
Conversation.
fucking conversation. There's no interruption.
No.
You can say what you want.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. No one's editing anything out. It's
Yeah.
just you and him,
Yeah.
or whatever the case is, and you
Yeah.
go for hours.
And Andy Murray coming
that's
up
the
tomorrow.
that's the healthy way to do it. So,
People who don't remember.
but I respect everybody.
Who don't remember. I mean, come on now. Andy Murray was a longtime NHL coach for the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah.
He was an assistant with the Flyers and Winnipeg Jets, I believe.
For a long time, dude. He's been in the game for since
30-something
1970s.
years.
More than that,
Or 50 years.
dude. Since he's been
Yeah.
coaching since the 70s.
But, and then he coached college, Western Michigan, who is just here in town. I went to a college game.
I did too. I did the Lindenwood game.
Oh, I went Saturday.
I
or
didn't-
Friday.
Yeah, you went Friday. I went Saturday.
Yeah, you went to the 2:00 afternoon game.
Yep.
So my
They
plan
got
was,
their ass kicked.
oh, dude,
Western Michigan
has like
Whoa.
five or six NHL picks.
Flyer
I-
picks.
Yeah, I went through, but they're all kind of like mid to late
I
round.
think they're like signed.
I went through every NHL draft pick playing college hockey right now because I'm curious, like, where are they all?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them. Schools like Boston College and BU, Denver, Minnesota Duluth,
North Dakota.
even Harvard. They all have like 10, 11 like NHL picks on their team.
Harvard does?
Harvard's got a bunch.
Harvard has NHL picks? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of players have come out of Harvard. You didn't know that?
I didn't think that many players would come out of Harvard.
Well, that's just on the team right now.
Like there's a lot of NHL players that came out of
Adam
Harvard?
Fox, there's a bunch of guys. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Donato.
Really? That's pretty hardcore, man. To go to Harvard, go through all that, and then fucking play professional hockey. Fucking tip of
A
the
lot
cap.
of guys are really smart.
Tip of the cap to that, man.
Mhm.
Damn
Oh,
right.
you had to go through Harvard?
Yeah, that'd be fucking hardcore.
So it's just interesting. Denver University has like 10.
yeah. No, college hockey's like the next. I mean,
But
they're
there's-
older.
But there's only, I don't even think there's 20, there may be like 10 first rounders, 10 to 15 first rounders that are playing college hockey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's not a ton of like, but that doesn't include like Celebrini, for example, who's going to be a first round pick, or first overall pick probably next year.
to Chicago.
I guess. I mean, just give Chicago
Hopefully
another.
San Jose.
Give him another first round pick. Well,
No, we
his
won't say-
dad is like the strength and conditioning coach for a long time with the Golden State Warriors. So it'd be
Yeah,
kind of cool
that's
if he
right.
went to San Jose.
I hope they did. I want San Jose to get a big dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthy for the league. I like that organization.
Well, I think they got Will Smith last year. I think
they?
I think they got him third overall, who was just a big part of Team USA winning the World Juniors. Man,
Shout out.
We'll give USA a shout out.
Give you USA a shout out. Now, they did chirp the fans and all that stuff. I don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. It's all good. You want to fucking chirp a little bit? The captain chirped. A couple big hits in that game. They shit kicked Sweden.
No, they're fighting at the end.
They're fighting at the end.
Let him go.
I fucking
That
love
little
it.
Lane Hudson, like he
I
looks
love it.
like he's like 11 years old.
Snuggaroo
honestly.
jumped in and tried to jump in.
jumped in. I love that,
Little
man.
shout out,
But
too.
Lane Hudson, man, we just had Jay Pandolfo on,
Yeah.
who's the head coach of BU. Lane
Yep.
Hudson's his guy, obviously, walking the blue line.
That was awesome.
Doing his thing. Second round pick of Montreal, man. So he's got some feistiness, man. His face is all busted up.
Love it.
That big old dude from Sweden was just throwing bombs, but then once
With a glove on.
with his glove on,
Mm-hmm.
and then once Hudson started like fighting back, he like didn't know what to do.
Well, what happens if you fight right there? You might as well shit kick each other because what are you going to get
Game's
suspended?
over, exactly.
Get suspended for what? The next non-game?
the
That's
next
not gonna happen?
non-tournament you're not going to play in.
They might. Maybe some of the guys are going to play next year. Maybe they get dinged for next year. I don't
guess.
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all good. But USA won, and the coolest part of that whole thing.
Well, hold on. What do you think of the way they acted in the, blowing the kisses and stuff like that? Is that
I'm not
is
a
that
big fan of that
deal?
stuff, don't
no,
get me wrong.
Listen,
It's not that big of a deal, though.
the
Who
answer
cares?
is, listen, did they act like idiots?
Yeah.
Probably so.
Yes,
But you know
they're
what?
fired up.
There is something about like a USA versus the rest of the world mentality that's
Yeah,
out there right now.
Especially when they're overseas. Damn right.
Sweden, they're like nice people though.
Yeah.
It's not like you're at a country or in a country that like hates the U.S. Although they might. Sweden might hate the U.S.
I don't know if they hate the U.S. because you shouldn't.
no,
I mean,
no, I
if
know,
shit
I
goes
know.
down, like we're going to protect
But
you.
they were being very nice. Swedes are very, very nice people.
Sweet people. We
You
love
know,
them. I'm
like,
Swedish.
So am I, dude. I am. So you can't.
Why are
act
you
like that.
everything?
No, but why can't? My mom was born and raised in Sweden. You know that.
You know.
That's why I'm gifted offensively. I told you that.
Yeah, okay. Well, my last name has 2 S's in it. I am Swedish.
Oh yeah, Janssen. Well,
You know.
we'll let you in.
I'm blonde hair, blue eye. Andy's
I will give
brown
Cam
hair,
a,
brown eye.
There's a lot of people from Sweden that have brown hair.
I don't see that many.
There aren't many, but there
I
are
don't
some.
see that many.
I will
don't-
give Cam a shout out because he came to my Christmas Eve
course.
holiday skate.
No shit, I did. I told you I would.
Mhm.
And I'm good with the kids.
Cam
baby.
wore a jersey with his own name and number.
I'm
on
good
it.
with the kids, man. Like I should have kids right now, but I don't. So now I give when I go out and hang out with kids
Mhm.
and somebody asks me to do something, I'm like not a weirdo clown, but a good clown.
Yeah.
And I talk to everybody.
You can't be the weirdo.
I can't be John Wayne Gacy. Okay, I'm not doing that. But I go out there and I talk to the kids, one-timers. I see a kid in the corner with the puck, and I go over there and I'm like, let's go. And you have to spin off me, spin off me, spin off me. Just little things like that. I have a good time.
No, you had a great time.
I was flying around.
Cam did wear his own jersey out there. You know, like I mean, it was fine. I did.
Was gonna wear your jersey?
I did have one person come up to me and say, "I hope Cam isn't teaching my kid anything right now." Jamal Mayer said this.
Was Jammer? I was teaching this kid stuff.
He's
Actually, he was telling me to talk to his kid all the time. I don't believe that.
He was kidding.
Because Andy will find the negative thing to like. He will always.
Hey, he was kidding. Okay, here's my thing. Because you want to get into that right now?
Let's go. Well, now that you said he chirped me, now I really got to go back.
Can we take that out back? Because it's going to influence how you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, how you talk about this now.
Of course it is.
He was laughing, and it was not a chirp at all. It was like a fun chirp.
Okay.
Cam, you had like 1,000 minutes in penalties.
It's fine.
Go ahead. That's what you were known for.
Are you supposed to teach his kid?
He was joking. No,
but you're the coach.
No, I wanted you out there to do that.
You're the coach, though. So you don't meet teach.
I'm not his kid. I'm not his kid. I'm not his kid's coach.
All right, but his
kid's a good little player.
Explain the whole thing with.
Well, I responded accordingly on social media. It got a lot of attention too. Oh, we talked about that. Yeah. Well, you did a video.
Yeah.
Before all this came. Yeah. Before he and Jennifer Botterill had their
fucking video on it.
Discussion.
Yes.
So there's two different ways to look at it. First off, if you're going to have this like dressing room discussion, I don't know if you can have just one person on the panel who played a long time and is trying to explain something that may be foreign to everybody else on the panel. Like nobody else played in the NHL, so he's kind of on an island. I kind of felt bad for him.
That's true.
From that standpoint.
100%.
It's like you're asking him about, like you're asking these NHL players to analyze why things happen and take place on the ice. It's not like a discussion of whether it should or shouldn't. That's a whole different topic.
Okay.
Whether hockey's a safe zone for people, all of that. Like whether fighting should be in the NHL, how he'd react if it happened to his son, all of that. That's not what it's about. You're asking a player to give his analysis and his insight as to why things happen on the ice. Whether you like it or not is a completely different topic. Now, the situation with Kaprizov, it took a couple of, cross-checks to the back. They didn't look overly violent, right?
No, they didn't.
There was a fight that took place in the game. I didn't like what Hartman did. I don't like the fact that Hartman even brought attention to it. If he was mic'd and all this stuff, and if he went up to Cole Perfetti and he said to him on the ice, "Hey, listen, I had to do that." That's like so goofy. Like, what do you mean? I never heard of that.
I had to do it.
I never even heard of that. These guys don't even know.
A kid that had nothing to do with the play.
They don't even know how to do it now. Yeah. It's like now they're like
I
apologizing for it. So the whole situation is completely goofy. But hey, it is what it is. The conversation they had on television that got a lot of attention. That's like a completely different conversation. But I agree with you.
So what?
But I agree with you. What Hartman did was stupid.
So what did Jammer say on the? So what he was saying to Botterill and the girls were that, hey, you got to do something. There has to be some sort of payback in this situation.
It's happened forever. Like guys accidentally on purpose maybe come up a little bit high.
But there's different ways to have a payback, and that one was fucking
like
gutless.
Fight him or whatever.
Ryan Hartman, okay, I'm pissed. I'm pissed that Kaprizov got hurt from Brendan Dillon. Dillon barely cross-check. Like that play, the cross-checks happen all the time. Yeah, he got him underneath the pads, above the pads on the pants, got him probably right in the ribs. Maybe the hip bone was probably already cracked, hurt Kaprizov. Mm-hmm. Okay, was that play that malicious? No. That was a battle. Not to mention Kaprizov turned around and cross-checked him again. And then Hartman's like, I got to do something about this. I got to do something. Okay, what are we going to do? Perfetti's up on the face-off with me. Okay, what can I do? I'm not going to fight him because I'm too soft. I'm not going to challenge anybody. I'm not going to catch him with his head down because that might be a little risky for me. So you know what I'm going to do after face-off? I'm going to have the puck drop, and I'm going to stick my stick right into his eye or his nose, and I'm going to catch him with my weapon. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, I got you. Mm-hmm. That's what fucking 7-year-olds do.
Yeah.
That's what happens when Ty's playing. Because a kid doesn't know how to retaliate and he's pissed, so he's going to cross-check a guy in the face, or he's going to do something really
Who's
sneaky.
unsuspecting.
Unsuspecting.
And
And he's like, what
wasn't
the fuck are
involved
you
in the
doing?
play.
Wasn't even involved in the play. That's gutless. It makes hockey look fucking dumb. And then not to mention you're mic'd up and you're like, hey, buddy, I didn't mean to do it, but I had to do it. No, you didn't. Fine. It's hockey, man. There's 50,000 other ways to get back at somebody. And you cross-check a guy in the face.
I don't have a problem with them, going after one of their skilled players, though.
That's fine.
But
there's other ways to do it.
But there's probably other
ways. Catch a guy with their head down. Or challenge somebody and put them on the spot. So
but all I'm saying is when you have these NHL players on these panels, man, their job is to analyze why things take place.
I get that.
Not to argue your point that it's archaic or it's too violent or it's not a safe place. And it is what it is. I mean,
it's not a safe place. You're on the ice going 100 miles an hour with movable objects around the rink where if you fall, you're going to get hurt. You got a puck coming 100 miles an hour at your face. You got sticks everywhere. You got fucking skates that'll slice you. You're hitting
she's
guys.
like, hey, well, how would you react if that was your son? Well, yeah, if my son did something stupid in the corner and and somebody got him back, maybe a little bit of a different situation, but it is what it is, man.
Okay,
this has been going on for a long, long time.
So Ty's playing in the game. His teammate kind of roughs up the guy, gets hurt, and Ty has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Then Ty goes out for a face-off, and some fucking dipshit kid
who wasn't involved in the play either
cross-checks him in his fucking mouth. You would be pissed.
Probably. Oh, I would be. No, I would be. 100% without question.
Probably.
No,
you lose your goddamn mind.
I would not like that.
Now, if he hit him clean with a hit and kind of roughed him up, you'd be like, oh, okay. You'd be mad, but you'd be like, okay. If somebody cross-checked Ty, you'd be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You'd lose your mind. And you don't have to do that. The whole thing looks stupid.
No, I even said, on your video, the whole thing is just goofy.
That's what I said, goofy.
Yeah, it is. It's like.
So am I wrong on what I said?
No.
Okay.
But the discussion of these panels where you have these players.
I'm chirping Jammer because you just said he chirped me.
I know.
I love him.
But these panels where you have these NHL players trying to explain to people that no matter what you say, they're never. And
Lateral's hard to deal with.
Some of these individuals, they know they can rally up the troops on social media. They've got their little communities that'll get all behind them, and they get all angry and they're animated and they don't stay composed and they're not calm. They're not under control when they have these conversations. That's what I don't like.
I get that.
He's speaking from a place that you cannot, even though if you played, there's a difference between playing and playing in the NHL. I'll be the first to admit that.
Yeah.
So if you played, even at a high level, women's hockey, I don't know if it's fully comparable.
Of course it's not.
To playing at the highest level on the men's side in the National Hockey League. I think and that's not a sexist remark. That shouldn't be taken as offensive by anybody. That's just the reality of the situation. There's NHL and then there's everything else.
Yeah, it's just like if you're playing in a German league, it's not the same. They're all the leagues are different. I mean, they truly are. But yeah, I get where Jammer's at. He's kind of on an island by himself there, trying to defend it.
Hey, producers,
but I just think,
don't throw him out there, man, to have these conversations when he's the only one that can really speak on it.
I just think Jammer should have said that move was it was stupid. Yeah. It was a stupid retaliation.
Well, you have another guy on the panel who does a good job.
Who is that?
Sam Constantino. Okay, listen, he's done a good job. I enjoy his draft coverage and whatever, but he's bringing up Cole Perfetti's concussion history and stuff. Listen,
you can't tie all that
that's
together.
not even being thought about
not
at the situation. Hartman probably doesn't even know, or he's not thinking about that at the situation. 100%. So he's hey, he should go after Scheifele or whatever. Well, listen. It just so happens that it was Cole Perfetti who was taking the face-off against him. If it was Scheifele taking the face-off against him, he probably does it to Scheifele.
Well, here's another thing. It's if you want to get back in a hockey way, you're probably not going to catch Dylan. You might catch somebody else with their head down. You got him back because you got somebody else.
And then you skate by their bench.
And be like, you want it again, baby?
And you skate by their bench and you look at Brendan Dillon and you say that was because of you. It's
exactly.
It's like when Nazem Kadri ran Jordan Binnington. And the reality is somebody should have gone after one of Colorado's probably skilled players. You could look at it and say, well, maybe they go after a guy like McKinnon. They go after Makar. They go after Nichushkin. They go after somebody else.
Yeah.
Instead, Justin Falk fought Nazem Kadri. But if you go do something to Makar in the corner or whatever, then you can skate by the bench and you can look at Nazem Kadri and you say that's because of him.
Yeah, you control your guy because
exactly.
he's starting shit, and now I'm hurting other people on your team because of him. So that's why it's gutless. Like even like the Cousins thing too, like fucking Bieksa, our boy, fucking bashed him. And rightfully so.
He said the Department of Justice, though. I love that. He's like, the Department of Justice needs to come down hard, man.
Well, whatever.
But everyone knew what he was saying, man. But I love the fact that Bieksa said that. And all you former players, man, that have this type of platform, use it. Be opinionated.
Yeah.
Like, take a stand. Say something that's going to get people to think. Stop trying to, like, tippy-toe around certain topics, man. I love the fact that some of these guys are coming out and just telling it the way it is.
Yeah, on the other hand, though, when you want to have a stance on everything that you don't even really have an opinion on, but you force yourself to have an opinion on, I think you need to shy away from that as well.
He was, like, coming from a place of, like, I wish I was on the ice with this guy. And here's how I would handle it if I was on the ice.
Well, Cousins fucking hits guys from behind, man. He doesn't fight. He turtles. He hits a guy from behind, and then he waits there, and of course he's waiting for a retaliation. He does, and he flops on the other like, oh! No, you started that whole goddamn thing, dude. You don't fight anybody afterwards. And you know what? Not gonna lie to you. Like, everyone's like, isn't that what you want from a rat? Don't you want your... Tyson Nash did that. Tyson Nash had fucking Twister. He had Losey. He had goddamn Chaser. Those guys begged Tyson Nash to do shit like that so they can go out there and be like, what's up then? Right now, if Dylan Cousins running guys from behind, like there's nobody coming out there like, let's fucking go. I'll settle this. No one's doing that. So when Dylan Cousins goes out there and rocks somebody from behind, and he's like, well, what the fuck? Then no, he's like, I'm not fighting anybody. Now the other team's so mad that somebody else on that team is going to get it.
Yeah.
So now it's just
Barkov, Matthew,
exactly.
whatever, you know.
And so they're like, fuck you then. I'm going to fucking rock somebody else. So now you're putting other people in a jam, your own teammates in a jam because you're not paying the piper. So I think that's got.
He is a rat. I hear
he is,
a rat.
dude.
I hear he's been a rat since junior. I hear
I like him.
But I hear he had some issues in junior and stuff like that.
Well, is he a good teammate?
I don't know.
But you're putting your other teammates in a jam because you are.
And he might be.
You're uncontrollable.
Not saying he's a bad teammate.
No, I don't know that.
I don't know.
We don't know that because usually guys that are crazy like that are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you are putting guys in a jam, and you got to realize that. So you don't have the heavy coming out. You don't got Colton Orr. You don't got those guys coming out like, no, I'll take care of him. I'll be the guy. So that's not happening anymore. So other people are affected by it. So quit hitting people from behind. Like, for fuck's sakes. We see this shit in fucking when Ty's playing, where kids come down, they see the numbers.
My God.
Why are you hitting people from behind? Now, another thing, too, another big hit that went down, Connor Bedard, our boy, who we love. I hate to see Connor Bedard get hurt, man. I fucking hate it. Like, I love that kid. Like, I really do. Like, he's the real deal. I like him a lot.
What do you mean you like? You have like a real you really like watching this kid play.
Like, I wish I was Nick Foligno, man. I know he's hurt too, but I'd love to be his
wingman.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I'd protect that kid off the ice, on the ice. I'd teach him everything. You know, I'd tell him everything I knew. Like, I really, really would.
His dad may not want you teaching him anything.
Just like Jammer. I know. Then don't invite me anymore. Why is everybody invite me?
His dad may be like, I hope Cam's
I like how he get chirped.
Teaching him anything on the ice.
I get asked to do so many things, and then I don't do it, and people fucking bash me for not coming out and seeing their kids. God. They fucking bash me. And then the first thing I hear today is, Jammer.
It's a joke.
No, sometimes with you, I don't know.
No,
like, sometimes with you, I don't know.
It's a joke. Ty loved having you come out. Ty loved having you come out. He's got a...
Don't invite me anymore. But anyway.
No, you'll come back.
So the Bedard situation, and even like people are like, God, I can't believe all this bad stuff's happened to Bedard. And I'm like, wait a minute. This kid is walking on water like he's a prince. He has so much attention to a point where other people are like, whoa, this kid has it all. He's here. He's fucking a pharaoh. They're carrying him around. And now he's a humble kid. And I'm thinking, when you're that high, no matter what you do, you're that high. Like, he's a pinnacle of just everything. And all of a sudden, the Corey Perry situation comes out. And like, whoa, what happened here? And all of a sudden, he crawls out of that. And he starts sniping again, doing stuff. Then he goes on a power play. He cruises down, loses the puck a little bit, going into the neutral zone or going into the offensive zone. And Smith steps up.
Yeah, we saw the
and
replay
catches him.
Yeah.
Catches him.
Yeah.
Was it bad? No. Did he catch him in the chin a little bit? A little bit. So it's a 50-50 hit.
He skated right into him.
Skated right into him.
It was like he might as well just skate right into a wall.
He did. He
Brendan
skated into a
Smith
wall.
just stood there.
Stood there. It was a clean hit. He's like, "Oh, you're here." Boom.
He's like, I'm not even like trying to hit you.
I know.
You just skated right into me.
So it's
and he caught his jaw, obviously on the shoulder, elbow, whatever it was.
of the shoulder pad.
Yeah, and
You catch him a little bit.
So he fractured his jaw, and now he's going to be out for who knows how long.
How long do you think?
Well, if he's out for months, then the Calder race obviously is wide open. If he's out for games, then he's going to still win the Calder.
So let me tell you,
I bet you a bunch of fans, a bunch of reporters, regardless, even if he's out for months, they should still just give him the Calder. Just vote for him.
or just have him go to the All-Star game anyway and just hang out.
Well, that's what sucks too.
But
Because the
listen to me.
league, you got Crosby there. It's in Toronto.
You
It's
got
going to be a
McDavid,
big
Matthews.
spectacle. You got McDavid. It would be great to have Connor Bedard there
I know.
with all the OGs. You know what I'm saying?
But when you break your jaw, breaking your jaw and playing hockey is probably one of the worst injuries you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, you can't.
Imagine this. Your jaw is clenched shut like this, for 6 weeks. Imagine that, okay? Imagine being, you can't eat, you're losing weight, you're depressed. Imagine sleeping. Imagine you get a cold when you're sleeping. You can't breathe out of your fucking nose. You're trying to sleep at night, and your jaw's wired shut, and you're trying to breathe out of your mouth, and you go into anxiety. All of a sudden, you go into panic mode. You're like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Oh, man.
You're sucking through fucking, trying to get as much protein as you can
No
through a
nutrition,
fucking straw.
yeah.
God, Bernie Federico was talking about it on Bally's. He's like, I broke my jaw. He's like, I had to take goddamn mashed potatoes, stir it up like this, and try to suck it through. It's cold. You can't swallow.
You can choke, man.
All of a sudden,
That's why they give you those cutters.
you start choking and coughing when your mouth is wired shut, your nose is, you have a cold, you are in fucking panic mode. You get out of that, man, and it's the worst thing in the world. I feel bad for the kid. He's going to be a superstar, but breaking your jaw is fucking god-awful, dude.
It was a nothing play. It was
It's a nothing
completely
play.
avoidable. I remember Barrett Jackman having a broken jaw.
Yes.
And I
With
remember
Darcy Horchuk.
And I remember there was like the Milwaukee Brewers or something were in town, and they had a Canadian player. Maybe in the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think it was the Brewers. And they had a bunch of players down in the Blues locker room afterwards. One of them may have been from like Trail, British Columbia, like where Jackman.
There's a lot of
And I
baseball guys from
remember
Canada.
Jackman with a broken jaw, and they wouldn't stop talking to him and asking him questions. And I'm like, oh my God,
He's like,
can you
this.
just let this guy go? Like he cannot talk, like it's. But again, man, it just shows the toughness of those guys, and obviously for a guy like Jax, man.
I would go into panic mode, dude, because I know my breathing's already fucked up.
Oh,
Anyway.
I would have a panic attack.
And you're like you just go into panic attack trying to sleep. Like, fuck, it's brutal.
Amazing it never happened to me before.
I can't believe it. Oh, Andy called me the other day, and this is how out of touch he is. And he's gonna act like he joked about it, but he didn't. Andy goes, and this is like a real quick thing because I caught it. He's like, oh man, hey, listen, I know I'm on TV tonight, but God, I'm walking through my garage and I kind of
I was
tripped.
putting together my sniper edge.
I was putting together
tiles.
something, and something came down and hit me right in my mouth, and I was like, "Go!" I was like, "Whoa, whoa!" Well, I never got hit that hard in my life. I was like, "God," in panic mode, and all of a sudden, I'm like, "Where's my?" And he's like, "Cam, I don't know if you've ever got hit. Like, you probably haven't got hit like this, but I was." And I'm like thinking to myself, like, "What the fuck are you talking?" But he acts like he's joking about it, but in reality, he was just saying that and doesn't realize he's talking to me. And
Okay,
of course, I've
so
gotten hit like that a million
I was
times.
putting together these tiles from Sniper's Edge, by the way, man. I'm wearing the hat right now. Got Ty a bunch of shit for Christmas.
Good.
And they're very easy to put together. For some reason, I had like two standing up, and I was like trying to do it in a very like unconventional way. It was the first one that I was putting. You just snap them together. They're so easy. And as I was like trying to snap it together, it like came up,
Bam.
and it just caught me in the face. I
Oh.
still have a little scratch on my
Let
nose.
me see
too.
where you're at.
My lip was
Where?
all, so
You have
the-
nothing.
My gums, my teeth still hurt to this day.
Oh.
So anyway, so
Okay.
I'm thinking my face is just completely exploded. Like it just hurt. I thought my lip was like
man.
completely.
And he
It
called me
reminded
right
me when
away.
I got that high stick that one time on the plane on the outdoor rink.
Yeah, dude.
When I had got a skate in the face, got a stick up high, Cam.
Oh,
So
God.
I told Cam the next day. I'm like, dude, or maybe it was that day. I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
no, you called me right away.
my lip was just. I go, I don't know if you ever gotten hit in the face.
No,
And he's like, no, Andy, and that never happened. Never
and
happened.
he's like, wait a minute. I'm talking to you. Oh yeah.
No, I didn't say
I'm
that.
joking.
I was
No, but
I
he
was
wasn't, though.
joking. I
'Cause
was
he's in
joking.
fantasy land.
But then I just figured out, okay, this is how you do it. It was very easy, very simple. So check out everything at
and you
Sniper's
have
Edge.
not one mark on your face. You have nothing on your
Well,
face.
I put ice
You
on
went
it right
panic
away.
mode.
Put ice on it right away.
Anytime you get in the face for the first time, you don't like you think it's the worst thing ever, and you look and you're like, oh, it's nothing there. Like it's all good. It's all good. But Andy fucking called me right away. I gotta talk to you, and he explains it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, just shake my head. Shake my head.
Big shout out to William Nylander. He's about to get even more rich, man. That
They
guy.
want to keep the core four, baby. All right, 11-5 for 8 years. He's dominating.
$92 million. What do you do though if you're Toronto, man? If you're the GM there,
Yeah.
how do you not keep him? Like
I don't know.
You have to keep him.
Yeah.
Listen, they're gonna be okay if you really dive into it. They've got one more year of Tavares. Then they can like move on from that situation or bring him back at a very small number.
Yeah.
They got 8.5 coming off the books, I believe, after this year with Domi and Bertuzzi. So
Okay, both combined.
Both combined.
I was gonna say, yeah.
They got Klingberg coming off.
Because they're
A
not.
stupid signing. That
was.
I mean, listen.
What happened
Well, he
there?
got hurt, but this is what Toronto's forced to do. Like they can't go out and get really any like high-end defensemen. They got to try to get these guys on one-year deals and whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it means for them future-wise in terms of getting a goaltender and maybe Joseph Woll when he comes back is going to further prove that he's the guy. Getting some defensemen. You've got Marner who you're going to have to pay. He's going to be somewhere between Nylander and Austin Matthews, right? Austin Matthews is at what, 13.25? Nylander, 11.5. So Marner's going to come somewhere between the two of them. But again, like I just said, Tavares coming off the books. I think you got Brody coming off the books relatively soon. Klingberg coming off the books. Bertuzzi, Domi. You're going to be able to.
He's one of your best.
You're going to be
your
okay.
best player.
If I'm the general manager of Toronto too, and I've got William Nylander with that blonde hair flowing and doing all. This guy's like a celebrity in Sweden. Like when they went over there, he's doing all the talk shows and whatever, wearing like wearing a wife beater on the TV.
Having that old lady flirt with him.
Oh my God!
His mom and dad are like, "Get that woman away from my son."
Who was that lady?
The one was hot, and the other one was old, and she's the one like touching him.
Yeah, but the one that was hot was like virtual. She wasn't even there in the studio.
Oh, damn!
She was like an actress or something.
Yeah, I'm like, where's that chick at?
He's like, "Are you a hockey fan?" She's like, "No."
Cool. This will be a good conversation.
Yeah.
Then.
So anyway, I think they'll be okay. It is what it is. I just think when you have players like that sell tickets and are superstars,
you
man.
Pay your
he's
best.
a legit
He's one of your
superstar.
best
You don't just like let him go.
Dude, he's dominating.
You got to move on from Tavares. It'd be great to move on from Tavares before next year, who continues to produce.
It's pretty good.
But again, it handcuffs your team though a little bit.
Yeah.
But the contract with Nylander doesn't
bother me.
Doesn't come until next year. They'll have to sign Marner though, man. You got to keep Marner too.
Yeah, you got to keep everybody together except for Tavares. I guess like he's slowing down. Although
but maybe he comes back at a smaller price.
How old is he?
He's a 1990.
Oh fuck! So he's 30.
So
33,
yeah.
32. Yeah.
William Nylander officially $69 million in signing bonus money.
Damn. Good. Keep that money. In case shit goes down on lockout.
Is that life-changing money?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Will he ever?
Core Racket Club boy.
Will he ever have to?
Did you just ask me that question?
Well, I know.
Is that? What do you mean? $1 million bucks.
Joking, buddy.
Although $1 million bucks ain't gonna last that long, but you could do a lot with it. If you're smart with it, you'll
How
be
much
okay.
do you think you have to make
15
to live off
to
of the
be able
rest
to chill? 15 million.
What about like your family, like underneath you, your kids, and
if you're smart with it, you can invest in different ways, and yeah, your kids are gonna be okay. But like you don't. Yeah, like
I was looking up like the top 15 or top 20 earners. God, sounded so weird.
What
earners
mm-hmm.
in the NHL this season, and both Kachucks are on there.
It should be.
So combined, they're making like 22 million. So the Kachuk family's set for life.
Yeah, we're not worried about them, Andy. We're not worried about those guys that sign those big time deals, man.
You're
worried about the guys that play 2 or 3 years.
The guy who's fourth highest salary in the league this year. I'm not talking cap hit. Because Nathan McKinnon's making the most money this season at 16.5. McDavid's actually down pretty far because so much of his contract was front loaded. I hope he makes $25 million a year. in his next deal.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
might bury your team, but you're making a lot of
Just
money.
sign 1 year deals at $30
well,
million.
the cap's going to be going up.
Just
big
sign
time,
1
too.
year deals at like $30 million a year. That's what Michael Jordan used to do back in the day. Anyway, Seth Jones is like 4th
Oh, yeah.
in the league in salary.
He's been hurt, isn't he? Who's
I
not
don't think
hurt?
so.
Isn't-
Oh my God! Well, he
Who's-
may have gotten hurt. Do you know Chicago has more money tied up in IR
Yeah,
injured
that's
reserve
what I mean.
than they do on their actual
Look at their
roster?
team.
They've got over $34 million tied up in injured money
I know.
right now, and Bedard doesn't even make money
No,
yet.
not yet.
Could he live off of his money yet?
Anybody can, because we're talking to people that we're talking to like normal folk here.
Mhm.
So when I say 15 million, they're rolling their eyes. I'm like, yeah, I know, but you live that lifestyle. Like if you don't want to have another job the rest of your life as a pro hockey player, if you accumulate 15 schmil and you're smart with it, you're gonna be okay. But if you don't, you better be really, really smart. Or if not, you're gonna have to get another job. You're living a lifestyle. You probably got kids. The wife's probably like, whoa, we got to change things. Like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Did
You
you
know what I
see
mean?
that reporter go? He was with like a tribe, and the tribe they'll eat people.
You're talking
Okay.
about North Centennial Island.
What is that?
Did I say that right? Centennial Island, which is a inhabited island.
He was like, "I'll cut your head off right now," in his own language that he was saying.
I was going to say, because there's people that went to
Yeah.
this it's a little island in the middle of nowhere
Mhm.
that is just cut off. And actually, the government, whoever it's a part of, I think it's Spain, they said no one's allowed to go there. They're their own little thing.
Really?
Yes, and there's some in
They
Brazil
have their own
too.
government and everything,
No, well, yeah, like
and they just
listen,
they let them live like
no,
that.
they live like they've lived for the past 30,000 years. Like back in the day, hunter gatherers. That's how they live. They.
So where is this?
This is in a little island, North Centennial or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And they've never.
They're like
there's
cavemen.
There's a picture of a helicopter that came down to this island, and the helicopter's like da, 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 just filming, and these people, like these natives, are like, "What is that? What is that? What
Yeah.
is
Oh,
that?"
yeah.
Like that's a spaceship. They've never seen human life before.
But that's
like,
not
like,
how they
it-
talk.
advanced-
That's not how they talk.
No, but they're like fucking chucking spears at them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some journalists went like, "I'm going to go to this island even though it's banned."
Did
and
you
cut
see
off.
that guy?
Yeah, and he came out. And
They were trying to
killed
get him to eat like human brains.
They
No,
killed him.
They didn't kill him. They killed that
We're
guy.
thinking of something different, then, dude. This
The guy who was sitting around, and then like the producer came over and said, "I think you're fine." I think
Oh,
you're
well,
okay."
that's different, dude. This guy went up and they
He
not
didn't
only
want
murdered
to
him.
eat the brains, and then like that one guy in his own like caveman like language was like, basically the interpreter said that he was, because they had the subtitles, kind of like the Spanish.
You're watching
kinda like
things
Spanish
that you're
movie.
watching like I'm reading about this stuff. This is probably different than what your TV series is. I don't know what that is. Because
And he was like,
if there's a TV
he was
series,
like, "I'll cut your head off."
no offense, if there's a TV series attached to it, it's
it's
not
a
real.
TV series.
So what is it?
I saw the video on social media. Like, well, maybe a TV series because they had like
Because if there's a
reporter
TV
there.
series, it's because they can't have people there. Do you get it?
Let
Because
me-
if they have people there, what do you think's going to happen?
Let me find out.
So whenever you are cut off from the other world, what do you think happens when somebody from the other world comes to your island? What do you think happened with Christopher Columbus? What happens, Andy?
Wait,
happens?
Say that part again.
What happens when you're cut off from the rest of the world and somebody from a different part of the world comes to your island? What happens? What happened throughout history? What happened?
They get killed.
You spread diseases.
Oh God.
So they don't want anybody
That's
there.
not what I was thinking.
You're
you were
thinking
gonna
of
say.
something different. That's fucking stupid, probably.
Well, I'm gonna find it for you.
I mean, don't waste people's time here, man. You're already an hour
because
in.
they want to know. They want to.
Although
know.
we haven't seen you guys in a long time, man, and we love you to death, and we miss it. Andy and I were jonesing, dude. We were jonesing for the past
Jonesing,
2
baby.
weeks, baby. Like, fuck, we'd be here fucking 5 times a week. We might do that. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, it's not good.
No,
Okay. It's not
no.
good for. I
so
serious.
so.
Maybe I'll take this off right now.
Watch this.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
Yeah.
But that's already set up before they went there. So
No,
I don't
then
trust it.
Thank you.
Now watch what happens, Cam, because this is when it really gets.
Yeah, it's not good for the podcast.
Well,
it's
for
not good
the
for
audio,
podcast.
it's not.
It's
That's
not
why
good
you
for
gotta go to
podcast.
YouTube to see this.
Hey, like and subscribe, by the way, to YouTube.
Oh,
like and
look.
subscribe. I know. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so these are fucking, they're hardcore, man.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's on TV, dude. I don't
no.
trust it.
Are you hearing this?
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear it in his voice.
Put your fucking phone down.
Now, this guy, the director, the producer, comes over.
He's tough.
Oh, yeah.
That's like Andy coming in like, this is what I need you to do. Good God.
Who is this guy?
Fuck them all.
Okay,
I hope they do get fucking murdered.
So this is...
Don't fuck with those people, man. Let them live their
the
life.
The reporter was eventually forced to eat a piece of human brain by these aghoris.
Yeah, man, hardcore.
You know what that is? A-G-H-O-R-I-S.
I don't know.
Who get very annoyed by him for speaking too much.
Yeah, get the fuck off their island. You're spreading
diseases.
diseases.
So he's an aghori cannibal sect.
Yeah, dude, they're hardcore. Get away from them. Now you're gonna spread diseases, man.
No.
That's how it works.
Who's spreading disease?
We do.
What do you mean? Because he's gonna give the reporter a disease?
What? No, the reporter's gonna give them disease. They're gonna fuck their whole fucking place up, man. They don't have fucking medicine there.
That guy has diseases?
Dude, when you are separated from the rest of the world and the rest of the world comes to you for the first time, you are going to spread diseases, just like Christopher Columbus did. And you know what happened with Christopher Columbus? When he left the islands and went back to Spain, you know what they brought?
Diseases.
Chlamydia.
Ugh.
They had chlamydia.
Oh,
Christopher
my
Columbus
God.
brought all kinds of shit
Really?
to them.
Christopher
they all
Columbus
fucking died.
Had chlamydia?
No, he got chlamydia. They had it.
Oh,
and they started fucking all the women there.
Oh,
raping them, by the way. And then they came back and spread. Chlamydia started in Europe when Christopher Columbus went back to Europe after fucking taking over.
You can't just like nonchalantly throw that out. That
Look it up.
Christopher Columbus was raping women.
Oh my God, are you kidding? They were torturing fucking people. Are you kidding?
He was a bad guy.
And I still respect
Christopher Columbus was a bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I think it's the way it is, man. You take over fucking... Listen, the Indians and natives were fucking shit-kicking us for 400 years, dude. Imagine back in the Oregon Trail back in the day.
Great game. Great game, by the way.
Awesome.
I used to play
and
that.
it still has fucking tracks from the fucking... From the wagons still on the Oregon Trail. But the Oregon Trail, man, back in the day, imagine being from Germany, being from Europe, and you are down and out. You're down and out. You have no money. And all of a sudden the U.S. is like, hey, we have this westward expansion. We need people here. We'll give you free land. We need you here, and we need you to sit up and fucking start building your own community. And all these people from Germany, down and out, starving with their kids, they come here, and they're on wagons. And most of them didn't even have wagons with horses. They couldn't afford it. They had to carry and hold their wagon with their family in the back and go all the way through the mountains. And they're like, this is fine. We're doing good. And all, they didn't even hear about the natives.
Imagine that?
They didn't even hear about the natives or the tornadoes or anything. And all of a sudden they go on a cliffside and you see the fucking natives like, we're going to get you. And everybody's like, what are these people? What are these people? And they get slaughtered.
Ugh.
Slaughtered.
Well, I'm talking about this is I'm thinking about going to this territory.
I'm telling you, man, like back in the day, like read up on like the 1800s and the expansion.
Did you watch anything like get into something over your break?
Yeah, I told you about the goddamn
Spanish movie, yeah.
Well, the Uruguay rugby team was a big deal. That was a true story. But like if Joe Rogan had on,
what do they speak in Uruguay?
Spanish.
They do.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm obviously
because my fact checkers will let me know if you're wrong.
But Joe Rogan had the producer on that did Yellowstone and 1883.
Ooh.
And Yellowstone's a fucking joke. Like it's a good show, blah 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 blah. 1883 is hardcore and it's actually realistic. And they were going from Texas all the way up to like Minnesota in the late 1800s. And the shit that you had to deal with, the weather, the natives, all that was so fucking hardcore.
In 1883?
1883.
Was the weather worse then than it is now? Is that what?
I think it was a little colder. I think they went through a cold spell.
Where were they? Which part of the world?
They went from North Texas straight up. So if you go right through the fucking...
Do you know that I've driven through North Texas and gotten in one of the biggest ice storms I've ever been in
North
my
Texas
life,
has hardcore
dude.
weather, baby.
Oh, I was driving, and I was driving like a Ford Taurus at the time.
Andy always had cool cars.
No. This was like a Ford. I was in college, driving back and forth through Texas, and it was like January, I think. It was like maybe it was like I was coming back for like winter break, December, I guess. Maybe going back, it was January. I don't know.
Yeah.
crazy ice storm. And the fact that I was able to survive that, Cam,
Well, the whole grid got shut down
the
a couple
fact
years
that I
ago.
was able to drive through that, most people would not have the ability to
Texas-
handle that type of weather condition.
Texas had their own grid shut down a couple years ago.
Ford
Guys.
Taurus, one of the worst cars I've ever had.
God awful looking, terrible. But anyway, look up that back in the day, man. Like, it was so hardcore, man. It truly was.
Mm-hmm.
It was. It was a different world back then, man. It was, and you're bringing desperate people over from Europe, and they have no idea what to expect.
Did you see,
They have no idea. It was crazy.
Did you see that save by Marc-Andre Fleury the
Yeah.
other day?
Yeah, I did. I like him a lot, by the way.
I think he should come back and play another year.
I do too. He's not going to catch Marty.
There's going to be a lot of goalie movement, I believe, at the trade deadline.
The Devils. need
L.A.,
somebody.
Edmonton, Lindy Ruff may be in trouble. I still feel like if I'm Craig Berube, that if you don't go back to Philly, which I still think,
Devils.
well, Philly's going to fall out. That's not sustainable, in my opinion. It could be, it may not be.
Tip of the cap to you, John Tortorella.
Yes,
Not going to lie to you.
tip of the cap,
Damn
but
right.
he wants to move upstairs, kind of like Jacques Lemaire is right now, like with Lou, and just do one of those things. I think he wants to move upstairs. So that could potentially allow Berube to slide in. And I just wonder, Berube being so tight with Keith Jones, I mean, obviously it makes sense, and his family's there, and he'd love to go back there, but do you want to work for your best friend? I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
He's going to have to fire you one day.
Yeah, well, okay. It's better your best friend fire you than maybe a guy
But at least
that
he'll
you
give
don't
him a
trust.
couple extra million
Yeah,
bucks.
like he'll probably get taken care of, and he's
Yeah.
going to do it at the right time.
Yeah.
Instead of not liking you or
Yeah,
whatever the case
yeah.
is. At least he knows everything about you.
Okay, so, but if I'm Berube, and Jersey's right there, you could still live at home probably, right?
I'll take that Jersey
I
team
want
over
that
right now.
jersey. I want that jersey.
They got some injuries on the back end. Why they got rid of Ryan Graves? I watched Ryan Graves. I did the
He's always
play-by-play
good. He's
with
good everywhere.
the Blues in Pittsburgh, which is kind of cool.
You did not do the play-by-play.
The
color for radio.
Sorry, my bad. You're right, Andy. My bad. Not the play-by-play. Jesus Christ, no. But the color for radio. So I'm at the hotel in Pittsburgh. I'm already stressed out. Like I didn't do good the last time I did the play-by-play with Curbs.
Color.
God damn it, my bad.
Yeah.
The color with Curbs on the radio. And I was like kind of nervous because he gave me an opportunity. I'm like, yeah, let me go do this. So I'm like writing down all my stuff all day. I'm in a weird spot. I'm just kind of like, what am I doing? I got to figure out what I am on there. I just really worried about notes. So I'm sitting in the lobby and I'm chilling there. I got chew in my mouth. I kind of like am dressed like whatever. I'm already stressed out. All of a sudden I see a bunch of players come in from a different team. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's the Islanders. I'm like, fuck, the Islanders are here. Like, what's up? Like, and I see Lou. Lou walks in. I'm already stressed out. I didn't know where my spitter was. And I didn't want to see him with a fucking fat chew in my mouth. I'm in this nice hotel. I have nowhere to put my chew. I was about to spit it on the goddamn ground, but everybody would see me spit on the ground. He walks in. I hide from him.
Oh, my God.
Like a pussy.
Oh, my God.
That man.
You
son,
wouldn't go see him
that
face
man
to
is
face to say hello?
I was in a weird
You know
spot.
he's going to be listening to
I
this.
know. I was in a weird spot. I was like this, and I saw him. I put my head down. I'm like, oh my God. I got my chew in my mouth. I couldn't find my spitter. Panic mode. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to go hide. I walk upstairs. He sees me. And I'm like, I know.
You told me you didn't see him.
No. I did see him. I didn't talk to him. I saw him. And I'm like, it's just like, I was sweating. Like, I was really nervous. I had a chew. I couldn't get rid of my goddamn chew. And I see Lou. And I walk upstairs. I'm like, what am I doing? And I walked back down to go say hi to him, and he was gone.
Yeah.
And I felt terrible.
Well,
what am I doing?
yeah, because he's thinking, wow.
Of all the shit I've done for you, you don't say hi to me?
He just blew me off.
You pussy. That was weird, man. I called my dad. I go, what the fuck? He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I go, I don't know.
I know, dude.
I was just stressed out. I don't know what it was.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Then I did the game, and I was great. I thought I did pretty good.
I
felt
tuned
great
in
afterwards.
for a few minutes. I didn't hear you talking a whole lot. That was just during that
You
moment.
know, Andy never gives me compliments ever. Like, see what I have to deal with. Like, okay, I was okay. I thought I did pretty good. Like, it's a big time deal, and I don't want to.
A big time deal. No, it is.
I know yours is, but mine's not. It's all good. Andy, interviews the girl from Cardinal Glennon or whatever, and he's got to brag about it. Like, come on.
No, I heard you did fine. I haven't asked anybody with the team yet, because but I heard from like on social media that you did good.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take that.
They lost the game. It's one of those things.
Yeah, it was
where
a weird one.
Sometimes it's almost attached to the result of the game.
Talked to a lot of guys too that night too. Dennis Bombi, he wants to come on.
Oh, he'd be cool.
Yeah. Who else? I saw a bunch of people.
You saw
Colby.
Colby Armstrong.
Little shout out, Colby. What's up, baby? He was cool as shit, But I didn't say hi to Lou, man. It was a weird thing, and I said it on the radio. They're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It was bad. I was like rattled.
Well, there's a deeper issue we need to get down to the bottom of.
Yeah, I was just kind of freaked. I don't know what the fuck
I
it
can
was.
probably help you with this. I can probably help, like I do with everything else.
So you know what? Like, if I had something on my mind, like Andy's the last person I'm going to call.
That's not true.
But if something's on his mind, I'm the first one he calls. Dude. See how that works? Like, and he'd be like, you're okay. Anyway, about me.
That's not true.
Okay. It's all good. What a pussy I am, though, man.
Man.
It kind of rattled me the whole rest of the night.
But
cool
the Blues, man, every time you count them out, they just like hang back in there. They just win a game when you don't think they're going to win. And then they just hang around, man. They've been hanging on all season long.
I'm glad Shinner got the shootout winner the other day. I went up to Shinner, who's so cool, man. Like, you're on the plane. Like, he comes right up to me. I go, what's up, baby? I go, how you feeling? And when I say how you feeling, I think that came from when I played in Europe, where people come up to you when you're in England and they go, you okay? And I'm like, I think so. Do I look okay? Yeah. No, it's me like, hey, how are you?
I know.
Like, hey, right?
No, some guys, Colton Parayko,
you get what I'm saying?
They get defensive when you say, how you doing? And they'll go, good, how are you? And I'm like, no. I mean, like, I'm just saying hello.
Exactly.
I'm not like asking you like how you coming along with your injury,
dude.
Like how you doing? That you haven't scored in 15 games, so like, are you doing okay mentally? I'm not asking that,
Andy. That's exactly what I.
Yeah.
I go, how you feeling, man? What's up?
General.
He goes. I feel fine, but I know I haven't been scoring. I'm like, whoa. I go, no. And I go, how many kids? You got kids? He's like, I got 2. He's like, that's probably why. And he kept going. I'm like, no. I'm just having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt bad about that, but he's fucking cool as shit, man.
He's the best.
Anyway, it's just
they got a lot of good guys on that team.
You gotta get used to that stuff. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
The guys are cool as shit, dude. It is weird being on the plane again, man. Like, just like, I'm like, fuck, am I playing? Like, this is like, it was cool to be back in the mix a little bit. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I totally enjoyed it, big time. Big time.
Well, good.
But I tell you what, man, you gotta pay attention, dude.
Yes, you do.
You gotta pay. You can't rely on the fucking replays, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you watch a play and all of a sudden it goes down and all of a sudden you're up to break it down. I'm like, whoo, what happened there?
Chaser didn't pay much attention. Chaser's like watching movies during games.
That's Chaser. I can't be that. I ain't there, man. I got to be on it. So it was cool. It was cool. I know you don't think it's cool, but
I think it's cool.
To me, it was.
No, I think it's cool. No, there's been a bunch of and a bunch of other guys who have filled in also, like who have gotten. And I'm glad they're sprinkling it around and giving a lot of guys a opportunity to do so with Joey V kind of doing some television work and whatever.
Yeah, so it's exciting, man.
But the Blues, they just keep winning. Nashville, Edmonton now is back in a wild card spot too, man. So I just hope it stays like this, man. I don't want to see anybody. I want to see the Blues continue to be in the mix, and hopefully come April, man, all these games remain very meaningful. And they have a real chance because they're giving themselves a chance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, this Drew Bannister. People ask me all the time. They say, "Will he get the job?" And even when he was given the interim job, the interim guy always has the advantage because he's the only guy that's behind the bench.
Nothing to lose.
And then the organization's like, okay, where are we at as an organization? We got to pay Craig Berube another year. You got all these like coaches that are out there, and you look at coaching salaries. And an organization say, okay, well, what makes sense for us right now? Do we need a $3, $4, $5 million coach at this stage of where we're at as an organization? Or is this guy the best coach for us right now based on where we're at?
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm Drew Bannister, I'm like, I got nothing to lose.
Playing with house money, man.
I got nothing to lose. So the Blues, like 2 weeks ago, I think they won their first 2 games. I think they were at home. And then they went down to Tampa and got fucking shit stomped.
Yeah, they did.
Embarrassing shit stomped. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh boy, here it goes. And then they rebounded. They went to fucking Florida and beat Florida. Florida was kicking
the next game.
Yeah, and then they kept going. Their pace seems quicker.
Yeah.
And so I met Drew Bannister and he seems like a nice guy, but
Super
there's
nice
something to a coaching change to where there's just it's just like a fucking injection of fucking
But you know what else?
energy.
They've
into
got
these
like
guys.
they've got like this surplus of players down in the minors
Yank.
too.
Yeah.
That like when one player dries up or gets stale, they just send him back and then they bring somebody else
Well,
up.
that's how it is.
And then they give him some energy and a little bit of a spark.
Nathan Walker.
And then when Walker dries up and he slows down,
And
they'll
Jacob
send
Brana.
him down. They'll bring up somebody else.
Well, that's how
you
it
know?
is.
And you get up Matt Kessel up here now too, who's a defenseman. Like with Falk going down,
Yeah,
and
Kessel.
like he's playing like 20 minutes a night. And
He
like,
looked pretty. Although he turned the puck over there like a rookie. He's a rookie D man. He's in front of the net, and he's like, "I'm going to kick it up to the wall," and he's faking it, but he's going to really go D to D. And somebody on fucking Colorado's like, "No, I know where you're going." Boom, deked him out. Benner made a big save on it.
Yeah.
And that would have fucked him up so
It
much. It
would
would have been the
have.
third game.
right, but
in
now
the
no
NHL.
one's even talking about
No one
that,
talks
right?
besides us, of course, here, but
Yeah,
who
I
cares
know.
about it? But I talked to him afterwards. He's going against fucking
That was
Crosby
against,
and Malkin.
Yeah. That was
Anyway.
against Pittsburgh, yeah.
Was it against Pittsburgh that game?
Yeah. His first game, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but the second game, I think, where he turned it over there, I'm like, oh, and then he didn't score. Benner fucking saved the day on that. He goes out there and played well the rest of the game. But if he would have scored there, that's just like as a young kid, man, you make a mistake like that just drowns you out. You know how sensitive I am when Jammer says
Well, you're
I
very
shouldn't talk to his
sensitive.
kid.
Apparently, you're very sensitive.
Although he probably will invite me out the next time too, but I shouldn't talk to his kid.
No,
but it's all good.
I invited you out. I invited him, and I invited you, and a number of other people.
But I don't talk to his kid though.
No, you can.
Okay. Just asking.
You can. But just don't try to teach him anything.
Oh, okay. Hey kid, how are you?
Don't
Hey,
try to
Chet. Oh,
teach.
never mind.
Yeah, just don't
Yeah.
teach him anything.
Nah, you're right. You're right. What am I thinking? Why would I try
Hey,
to
but
teach
you know
a
what?
kid?
I showed my kid that Hartman situation.
Good.
And I said, anybody ever does that to you?
What'd you say? What'd you say that you would have done, Andy? And what does Ty think that you say? He's like, man, my daddy would have done that. I'm going to do it too.
What do you think I should tell him? If a player ever
Stick up for yourself no matter what.
you cross-check him in the face. Well, I'm just saying.
Like, now you're doing a weapon against a
Oh,
weapon.
I'm just saying.
No, I don't say cross-check him in the face, but you stand up for yourself.
You
You're
stand
like,
up.
what are you doing? Like, I'd rather you fight the guy.
Instead, he like left the ice.
It's like, bam, I'm gone.
And like Perfetti, like where'd you, it was like Houdini.
Where'd you go?
He just like escaped, and
I
all of a
did
sudden
my
he,
job.
He like disappeared. I'm like, no. You just let this guy, and then he's like, well, hey, buddy, I had to do it,
I had to do it.
just so you know.
We talked in a lot. No, you didn't.
Now, do you have a problem with Perfetti telling the media that?
Nah.
Me either.
Nah. Fucking no. It's actually, Perfetti was actually pretty cool about it. He's like, no, Hartman was actually kind of
Hey,
classy.
where are we headed in the NHL though? Like, there's no tough guys. Like Ryan Reeves, the toughest guy in the league right now, and you know he's hurt. Like, is Matthew Tkachuk going to be like our Brady Tkachuk? Brady Tkachuk, is he going to be like the heavyweight champion of the league in like
There's just
2
no
or 3
heavyweight.
years
Well,
from now?
Delorier's still kicking, man.
I'm
You
saying
got-
in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, maybe. You know, maybe. So what? Like, are you watching games right now? Like, I can't wait for these two fucking guys to go. No, you're not. It's a different mindset now when you watch a game. You watch a game to watch it. Watch the game go. Big hits. Still going at it, man. There's still going to be some fights here and there, but nobody's sitting there like they did back in when I played, really, where they, I'm going this guy or McGrattan and fucking Bugard and da-da-da-da. Like, that's out of the picture now. So it's like, go play. If shit goes down, then you say, maybe this guy will go this guy.
Yeah.
But no one's even thinking that off the bat. So fighting's basically, it's not even it's a part of the game, and it keeps everybody honest for the most part. But it's not like, oh shit, dude. In juniors, it'd be like on the ticket stub, it'd be me and Pruss, like they're gonna go again. Like that's the mindset in 2000s.
Yeah, that was different.
Up to 2012, and then now it's different. This
Did
is
you
different.
play junior? I didn't even know.
Yeah, for Windsor and Guelph. Jesus, Andy. The thing is, that was probably a
I
legit
forgot.
question.
Oh yeah, you can't think I'm serious with that.
That was probably a legit question from Andy.
Nobody pumps your tires more than I do.
To who?
Although I feel bad last night because I have like this guilt because I missed an event last night.
Get over it.
I had such a busy day.
Brooksies.
Yes.
Alex Brooks, who we love. He was my captain in Albany. Love him. Played for the Devils. Awesome guy. Scout for Chicago. I'm in an alumni room, and he's there with Andy McDonald, and all the AAA kids are in there. I'm like, what's up, kids? I'm not teaching them anything. Don't worry.
Don't be doing that.
Don't worry.
You
I'm not
shouldn't
teaching them
be doing
anything.
that,
I
yeah.
did give him my little ball out of my locker room and said, stick handle with this,
Mm-hmm.
do your thing, because they had a big tournament against the Nashville Predators junior team, or AAA team.
Mhm.
And Brooksy's like, you're coming to my event for the Team Quebec. I go, when? He goes, Sunday night.
I know. Oh my God.
And Kate goes, Kate laughed.
Why were you there the other day?
Because that was during the Lindenwood game that I did the what's it called?
Did you do the color for
Yeah,
that game?
color. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, with Nate. Just to get reps in, because that's what I do, because I want to be the best I can be at my job.
So the game on Friday night, by the way, I thought I was going to stay for like 10 minutes.
Almost
I stayed the
won.
whole game.
Western Michigan.
And Western Michigan had the puck the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
The whole game.
They're loaded.
They outshot them 43-18.
I know.
This goalie for Lindenwood is like, I don't even know if he's good or not. Like, I don't know. He just kept making one save after the next. He's just like diving around. Pucks are hitting him.
What's his name?
And there was like one grade A after another. And if
good.
Western Michigan goes back to the video, it's like, I don't know how some of these guys weren't scoring on it. They were shooting it right at him. He made some great saves, but some of them were like, dude, like, how are you not scoring? Like, you're not even looking where you're shooting. You're shooting it right at his chest. Like, stop doing that. You know, some of the saves he made were spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
He played great, kept his team in it. But the shots were 43-18. Lindenwood actually had, and I love having college hockey here in town, man.
Fuck yeah.
Let me just say this to Lindenwood.
Great.
Like, you got to schedule home games, which is difficult.
It's hard.
At this stage when you're a new program.
100%. Andy.
And to get these big-time programs to come into St. Louis to play. But that's when I want to watch Lindenwood, man, right now, because they're not in position to truly – they're new, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they can keep it competitive, for me, that was like a win for Lindenwood. You got the 11th ranked team in the country. They're in town. You got a 2-1 lead after the second period. You lose the game 3-2. But it almost felt like a win. You're like, wow, okay, that was fun. That was so my plan was to stay for 10 minutes. I stayed the whole game.
Dude, it was I heard that game was awesome.
Yeah.
And another
thing, Jamal was there too, actually.
He doesn't like me.
He went to Western Michigan.
I know he did. And so did Jeff Lavecchio. Somebody came up to me and said, and I'm talking to people the whole time, whatever. Like, Jeff.
Oh, they said that to you.
And I go, what? They go, thank you for teaching my kid. Da, da, da. I go, what?
Oh, God.
He goes, you trained my son. And I look at like people around me. I'm like, oh, you're welcome.
No, we don't want you teaching the kids.
Exactly.
Remember?
What am I doing? But I will say this. I went into Centene to watch that game. And this place is this 4-rink setup that we have here in Maryland Heights in Missouri is one of the nicest facilities you could possibly imagine. Outdoor rink, blah, blah, blah. 3 different ice sheets in the inside. Bobby Plager rink, NHL rink, blah, blah, blah.
Do you know you and I were the first
to skate on,
2 people ever to skate at that rink?
Yep, I remember that.
Because I invited you?
Yeah. Well, I could have walked on there, but it doesn't matter. I walked through that rink. I saw more. What do you think I'm going to say? What do you think I'm going to say? Wait, what do you think I'm going to say? What did I see a lot of? No. Specific kid.
Women hockey players? Oh, women.
I saw more girls walking in with their fucking tracksuits on, carrying their
because they have a team.
I saw
Lindenwood's women's team.
Listen to me. No. This was like AAA kids and the lady Cyclones.
Yeah.
There were more women hockey players, girl hockey players than guys in that rink that day. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Are you watching the PWHL right now?
I watch highlights of it. I'm not chirping. No. I'll chirp WNBA. I don't give a fuck. WNBA is a shit product.
How can you say that?
This might be
no.
different.
No.
What do you what?
How are you going to talk about the WNBA like that?
They're cocky.
When you've got...
They're cocky.
I mean...
They can't even dunk.
Oh, there's a lot of dunks.
They don't do shit.
No, there's some tomahawk
It's the worst.
dunks.
No. It's the worst product you could possibly imagine. And
the skill level is as high as we've ever seen it in our league.
The self-awareness is like Andy's self-awareness. Their self-awareness in the WNBA is just like how Andy is. They think they are fucking... upper echelon. They need to get paid the same. All their superstars.
You see that one girl go between her legs, behind her back, left hand.
Caitlin Clark the other night, fucking badass.
Sick.
She's a badass bitch. I like her a lot. And she probably doesn't even want to go to the shithole
First
WNBA.
overall.
My point is, they bitch and moan about fucking pay, equal pay, and all this shit, and they lose money.
Hockey players don't?
No.
Dude, are you out of your mind?
Oh, I don't know yet. They just started.
But they wanted to have pay, increased pay and all that, which they deserve, man.
I'm not there yet with them. Okay. But if they start acting like fucking WNBA,
look into it. This was a story not too long ago.
No, okay, I agree with you. That's fine. Okay, but I'm just saying right now, like the big stars at WNBA are like, we need what's the first thing you should do? Like, is there any rule changes? Can we put the net down?
Kendall Coyne's done a lot for those women off the ice, dude.
Probably, no doubt.
Hillary,
I'm not chirping
Hillary
them.
Knight.
Do you not get what I'm saying?
Amanda Kessel.
Do you not get what I'm fucking saying? I'm chirping him, but you asked me about
I can't
the
believe
women
you're chirping the women hockey players.
I'm not, Dick. I think I give a fuck.
Okay, good.
No, I'm right now. No, the games, the highlights I saw were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're hitting each other. They're fucking emotional. I like that. Now, if they start bitching about they need to get paid a certain amount when they haven't brought any revenue in, kind of like 30 years worth of WNBA, then I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you girls doing? You got to fucking earn it.
That's not what I sent you a video of like the hardest hits from the games the night before. And I mean monster collisions.
Why are they not allowed to hit?
No, hey,
Wait, let me explain.
Can I throw something at you real quick?
Why are they not allowed to hit?
Well, because it's probably for safety reasons. I don't know.
Well, what 10-year-olds could hit?
No, women.
10-year-old boys.
Girls
Well, what's the difference?
Okay, let me ask you this.
What you didn't answer?
Can I ask?
Is there a difference?
If you really want,
aren't we the same?
Hey, listen. If you really want to sell this league, you want people to watch. You gotta just like let them go, man, and let it be physical.
Yeah.
Let them run each other over. Let them
they're
crush,
mean. They're
let them crush
yes.
each other, and people will tune in and watch that.
Oh, is that such a theory that no one else thought of? Like seriously,
I haven't heard that.
No shit.
Yeah, I haven't heard
obviously
that.
That
is anybody else thought of that?
Like just like when people are like, "What do we do about the Bedard injury? What the fuck are you supposed to do about that hit?" No. Oh wait. What are you supposed to do? How do you avoid the Connor Bedard injury?
Connor
Because
Bedard,
people are bitching about that. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to avoid that? Well, the only way you avoid it is Connor Bedard gets his head up. That's the only way.
He thought he was the Kool-Aid character who like goes.
He's like, I'm just going to
goes through the brick wall.
I know. I'm not chirping the fucking women's hockey league unless they start.
Surprised I didn't break my jaw with a couple of the hits that I've taken over.
You haven't done anything. You're a reporter. Sometimes you got to realize that. You're a reporter. It's all good. You do a damn good job of what you do. But sometimes you get like lost, like you're something different. You're a reporter. It's all good.
You know, I've talked a lot.
You couldn't play in the women's league either. They'd fucking rough you up. And that's fine too.
I mean, I can't believe you'd even say such a thing.
It's all fine. But I will watch a women's
13,000 fans in Minnesota.
Good.
8,000 fans in Ottawa.
Big Marcus Foligno went in there in Minnesota too. All the girls are probably like, "Oh my God, that handsome son of a bitch."
Well, one of them on the team is Luke Cunning's wife. We'll give her a shout out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she wears number 11.
Spread the seed.
Cunning on the back of the jersey.
Spread that seed. Baby.
I don't know how long she's going to play for or whatever. She had a great career at University of Wisconsin.
He's married to her?
She's a Minnesota girl.
Oh,
and she's playing in her home state right now for the championship team. They're very tight with the
championship
Folignos.
Team.
Or with the professional team.
I was going to say.
They're very close with the Folignos. I think Marcus Foligno was a groomsman in their wedding.
Oh, yeah. Marcus came in the locker room like fucking handsome as shit with his little daughter
with his
too,
girls,
and he's just like, "I'm going to do the thing."
Future. Is it the wilderness?
We don't know yet. That's another thing. Like, can we get that straight?
Cam's asking me what the names of the teams are.
All y'all out there, it's all good. I'm not even chirping. Andy sets me up to be a dick, but I'm not going to be a dick. The women's team. Get their fucking name. Can we find a fucking name for these people? See, for these women?
Is it just Ottawa?
Can we find
the Ottawa?
You did all this stuff. You set up this whole organization. You it's so much work into it. You guys can't find fucking 6 names.
You know who's in charge of the players union?
Who?
Brian Burke.
Yeah, Berkey. Figure it out. Call them the Lady fucking Cyclones or whatever. Give them a team name.
No, the Wilderness sounds like a good name.
Fine. Give it to them.
Or is that the WNBA team name?
Don't even associate yourself with them. They're too cocky.
Hey, listen, I'd like to have a back-to-back. I mean, if you could have a WNBA game during the day, same building, then have a women's hockey game at night, back-to-back.
How about have a women's hockey game before an NHL game?
Fine. They're going to be at the skills competition probably. Amanda Kessel beat Clayton Keller, remember, in the race. She did. And a number of other players.
Okay, see, I know what you're trying to do.
No, I'm just telling you what happened. I'm telling you what happened.
I know what you're trying to do.
Fastest skater competition.
I know what you're trying to do, and I'm not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything.
And I don't like it. I'm being positive, but I'm a realist.
Is she faster than Clayton?
Don't make me be a dick.
No, I'm asking.
Probably not.
She's married to an offensive lineman.
I don't give a fuck who you're married to. Okay. It does not matter about your athletic ability. Is she faster than Clayton Keller? Are you out of your fucking mind? Probably not. Probably not. Now, Kendall Coyne.
No, that's what I meant. Kendall Coyne.
Okay, maybe.
Who's done a lot for women. Hillary Knight, Kendall Coyne,
I know.
Amanda Kessel.
We're not like arguing this. But I say have their game before the Leafs game and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool.
I guess.
Or is that too long?
Maybe too much. I don't know.
Then what'd you say?
Are you watching the?
You want to have a
Are you watching the women's U18 Worlds right now? I mean,
No,
I didn't know you're so into
Andy,
it. I
Andy.
just didn't know if you're
There's
watching
other
that.
thing. We got football going on. We got fucking a big game tonight with college football. I'm watching that. Goddamn.
Oh, Alabama's tonight? No, Michigan. Michigan and Washington.
Washington.
Who do you have?
I have no idea.
Michigan.
I like Michigan's quarterback. Why do you think I like him?
McCarthy because he played hockey.
Hey, goddamn.
JJ.
See,
You know- come on.
See,
Hey.
I'll fucking compliment
I
you.
know.
A lot of times when I say
McCarthy,
something, you
he
make
brought
shit
up the
up.
Stanley Cup, I believe, in his
yes,
post-game
he did.
interview.
He said, "This is what the fuck we do. We don't
Yeah.
touch it, just like the
Yeah.
fucking hockey players."
Oh,
do."
he didn't touch it?
Yeah, he's like, "This is what the hockey players."
Wow,
do.
is that what he
I grew
did?
up in fucking Michigan.
Hell
He's
yeah.
like, "I'm a hockey player."
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. Did they cheat? Probably. Did Harbaugh cheat during the season? Yeah. Then fucking
What did
do
he
something
do?
about
He watched the
He had that
hand
dude.
signals?
No. They hired a guy, some dinkball,
Mhm.
that went to every single fucking game. You see him on this. He was on the sidelines recording stuff. Like it was like he just like blended in.
But they only play these teams once a year, though. Like, what are they doing?
That's a big fucking game. So you.
Oh,
find
he
out-
was going to games,
Yeah,
not
scouting.
on games that didn't involve Michigan.
Yes. Andy,
Really?
Yes. So did they cheat? You fucking A right. Did other people cheat in ways? Probably.
How
But Michigan's like, okay.
How do you get caught? Doing
Because
that?
the camera's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
He wasn't on the sideline,
Yes,
was
he was.
How would he get down there?
Then he was in the thing. They see him everywhere at these different games. He's holding up stuff.
God,
Yes.
do you
There's
really,
a-
can you
excuse
just
me?
watch it on TV and get the same type of like?
You can't watch the fucking sideline.
You see the sideline.
Not the whole time. You got to follow that
You know,
one
it reminds
guy.
me of like when the Patriots used to do this.
Yes.
And I ran into
No
Mike
doubt.
Marts the other day at the radio station.
Yeah,
we
he's at the
worked
radio
at.
with us. Yeah.
Mike Marts, former Rams coach, and he and I were talking ball and stuff, Cam. And
He's probably like, God, Andy, can I pick your brain on some things?
no, we're
Can you
talking.
imagine? A fucking NFL coach goes to Andy like, hey, I heard about you at Parkway North. Bullshit.
We're talking ball.
Talking ball. He's probably, get me the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. He lives out by me.
Do you know that I had?
He lives in St. Albans.
Do you know he does? Let's get together with him actually. So
I will.
I arranged for him to go speak to a local high school here in town. Our boys, the Sansones. So like Sansones, the youngest brother, was a quarterback at SLU High, and so they have these different speakers. I even thought about having you come speak to the team.
Why would you want me to do anything? Why? I
They-
don't want anybody
They
ever
wanted-
asking me ever
They
again.
wanted speakers to come speak to
Yeah.
the team to like on Thursday before their games on Friday. So like I, for example, could get up there and like motivate them, you know,
Big
and like
time. They're like, fuck.
like
yeah.
they're ready to run through a wall.
Like, who's this guy? God, I want to fuck it.
No, like they're ready to go. I'm getting them pumped up. So Mike Marts, I'm like, dude, you guys should have Marts. Would you be interested in that? So I arrange it for Marts to go out there. This guy and I run into Marts the other day. We're talking ball, and I said, hey, thanks for doing that. How'd it go? He's like, I'll tell you what, right away. I'm talking, and there's 3 kids over here that are just talking to each
Yeah.
other when I'm talking. And I look at him right away. I said, you guys are being disrespectful. You're not going to do that when I'm here. So if I'm going to come talk to you, you're going to listen, you're going to pay attention. Like, they were probably like,
Fuck that. I'd be say the same fucking thing.
Hell yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
So he gave this speech. I heard it was unbelievable. Talked about stories with him and Isaac Bruce and Kurt Warner and all this type of stuff. And Torrey Holt and number of players, Cam, who I,
Who
watched,
respect
who
you.
I scouted for a long time. And so he's telling stories. And then I love this. So when he finishes, he just like ends it. Just like drops the mic or puts the mic back up, and he just
Fucking
left.
leaves.
Didn't stick around to talk to the coaches. Didn't take pictures
Oh,
with
he's
the
probably
players.
pissed.
He just left.
Oh, you're talking when I'm talking, man. Shut the fuck up.
But then they stopped, and he gave a great speech, and they really. But he just. I love how he just like walked out,
He's got
went
shit to
straight
do.
to his car, and just left.
Well, he did you a favor.
I love that, man. All right, we got to get to Andy Murray.
Yeah.
I called Andy the other day because I was like, "Hey, I'm going to the game tonight. Western Michigan's here." And obviously, I go, I wish you were here coaching the game
know.
today
I do
because
too.
I'd have him come talk to the boys and whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
I love Andy, man. Like, we had our own thing going on, but like, there's a lot of drama, and it was hard for Andy to coach our team. You got a bunch of young guys that are crazy. You got Big Walt that'll kind of go toe-to-toe with you. Weren't very good. The Blues fans were kind of disappointed in the last couple years before Andy showed up. They were fucking the worst team in the league. All of a sudden, you got all these new guys. And Andy did his best. And was he a micromanager? Absolutely, and he'll admit it right now. But if you look back and all the things, and sometimes I didn't like Andy. He didn't let me go out there to fight a guy when I wanted to and whatnot. Maybe my buddies would chirp him, and he would see that my buddies chirped him, and then all of a sudden he'd come out afterwards, and my buddies are waiting, and all of a sudden they tie that together. And at the time, when you're in your own bubble, you're like, fucking Andy's not playing me. But you think back on it, it's like, God damn, he was a good dude. He was a good coach, and he came on our podcast, and we talked about everything. The drama that he had to go through from Eric Johnson to fucking just Osh to Bergie to fucking all of us psychos on that team.
Even like having like JD and Checkets and all these guys.
Yes, the ownership group.
There's a lot going on.
So if you look back on it, and even at the end, I might sound like a pussy because I apologized to him. And the reason why I did that is because I
didn't even accept your apology.
He didn't. No, because he even helped me get another contract.
He did.
I know. Like I kicked Andy when he was down like a fucking idiot. Like a fourth line.
He helped you get a contract.
Plug. I'm a plug. And I say a stupid thing, kind of thought I was off fucking the record. And I said something stupid. It blew up all over St. Louis.
Like Kyrou did?
Yes, exactly. It blew up all over St. Louis. People fucking were chirping me left and right. And I sounded so dumb. Yeah. And I wanted to apologize for it.
Do you know that, and Andy and I, we had, honestly, like, a unique reporter-coach relationship. You probably won't find too many like that. This guy invited me and allowed me to come to like coaching clinics that he would put on. He'd invite all these like big-time coaches from the WHL and NCAA and Switzerland, and they'd come into St. Louis and they would do these like week-long clinics and have different Blues coaches present PK, power play, forecheck, offensive zones, defensive zone. And he let me come in and like sit in through it. Right, so you wonder how I'm able to like break it down and whatever,
awesome.
You know. But no, he would get so mad at me though, Cam. Like I get these phone calls from Mike Caruso, who was in charge of PR with the Blues at the time, and he'd be like, "Hey, listen, when you get here, Andy wants to talk to you," you know. And he'd be so mad. He kicked everyone out of a press conference one time, right when it started after a game, and he had my story in his hand. He's like, "I need everybody else to get out of here, Andy."
Good. He's probably like, "Here, what the fuck are you talking about with this?"
Well, he was pissed because I was like, I defended the players a lot. And
you did.
You know?
Yeah, because you're in cahoots with
I
them.
did. I defended the players. And I was like, there was I made like a comparison to how San Jose was treating Devin Setaguchi or something compared to like David Perron. I don't know.
No, but there's a couple of guys that we had on like Patrick Berglund that said Andy was not good to him.
No, exactly.
And we asked him about that too.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and I don't think David Perron probably had the best, Petrangelo, but Andy was in a unique spot because he's an NHL coach. He's trying to win. He's been handed all these 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids.
Yeah, no shit.
That were given the keys to the city because the organization is like, we got to promote this
Come
team.
grow with us.
We got to market these guys. And he's like, you're marketing these 18-year-old kids. Like, I've got no control as a head coach over any of them because you guys are handing them the keys to the city.
I know.
And it's like, I'm trying to bring them back down to earth, you know?
We were on
They had to send Petro back to junior 2 years in a row. He's painting Perron skates. All this shit going down. The whole Oshie thing, man. It was a challenge, man. I almost, like, feel for him that, he's expected to try to coach and win and try to develop these kids, yet they're being treated like they've played 1,000 games in the league.
We all
already.
got treated like we were played 1,000 games, and it was like perfect for me because you got popular really quick. You're doing every commercial to this, to signings, to all that, and we haven't accomplished anything yet. But they were so bad for so long to where they're like, come grow. We're going to spend money and pump all these young kids up in this city. Great for me. Look what we're doing now. Like it worked out. But we thought we were way bigger than what we were, including Osh to EJ to anybody. It's just the way it was in the organization at the time. And so, like, we're just doing it. And so it makes it that much more difficult. If this was like the Devils at the time, like, everybody's the same. But here it's like we have to get the fans engaged. Like, Lou didn't care about that. JD did, and rightfully so. And so you build up all these guys. I remember one time, I'm going to give Walt a shout-out on this. And I maybe told this story before, but I don't give a fuck. We're in Detroit. It's my first time back to Detroit, and I haven't been to Windsor yet since I played there. And all my buddies in Windsor are like, get over here. So I go to Windsor from Detroit, and that's like a no-no to do. You know, like I'm going there partying all night. So I go there, I go to a game, I go on the ice, I say hey to all the fans like this. I party with my billets and all the boys and all these people I knew in Windsor all night long. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I make my way back to Detroit. I go to Starbucks. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna act like I just got up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have my suit on. I tidy myself
I think
up.
you did that. Told me this.
And I sat there and I started drinking my coffee. And Andy Murray comes down at the fucking Chrysler building and he sees me at 5:30 in the morning with a Starbucks. And he's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
And he sees me. I'm like, "Hey." I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like trying to get to my room because it's such a clusterfuck at the Chrysler building. If you know, you know. And so Andy calls Walt in.
What's the Chrysler building?
Chrysler building's right there downtown Detroit. It's really complex on how to get to your room.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have enough time to get to my room. Andy sees me because he's up early putting the fucking sheets under the guy's doors.
Right.
He sees me up that early. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't see him. I'm like, "Hi," and I went to my room, and he calls Walt over. He goes, "What's Cam doing up this early?" And Walt goes, "He gets up early every fucking morning." I see Cam get up every fucking morning, which I do. Don't get me wrong. But this time I was over there and I just got back. Walt stuck up for me.
He didn't know, though. He
Walt
probably was saying.
Walt 100% knew what the fuck
he
I was.
did?
Yeah, because I told him I was going next door.
Walt like ran the
Yes,
organization.
Walt stuck up for me. He goes, "No, Andy." And he fucking doubled down. And then the Windsor Star had a picture of me on the front page saying hey to the fans at Windsor Arena. And Andy saw that and Walt stuck up for me. And it was just kind of a big joke. And of course I didn't play that night.
But he didn't know you were going to do that, be honored or recognized at the game or whatever?
No, I'm not going to say, "Hey, I'm going to go to Windsor and get recognized."
Well,
like,
you could
come on,
go to the team and say, "Hey, listen, they want me to come
Andy,
to a game.
It didn't work
Is
that
it
way.
okay if I go to the game
It
for
didn't.
this?" And
You
just got to communicate that.
Okay, thank you. What'd you do whenever you communicate with them?
But
So anyway,
yeah.
I got to give Walt a shout
But-
out, man. Hell yeah. I love
yeah,
you,
no,
buddy.
that's cool that Walt did that. Andy it'd be interesting. The one time in Pittsburgh, and David Backes was a big prospect, had yet to play in the NHL, and the Blues were calling him up to play his first game. And Andy Murray, I was with the team in Pittsburgh, and Andy called me to say, we're calling up David Backes. So I reported it, put it out on Twitter or whatever, maybe my old website,
MySpace.
True Hockey or whatever I had.
And no one like
TrueHockey.com.
really in the grand scheme of things, no one really saw.
Which I was writing for years ago. I don't know where I put it out at the time. I said, David. So, and JD called me all fired up. "Why would you put that out
John
there?
Davis.
Blah, blah. And I'm like, "Well, Andy told me." Well, then Andy told JD that he didn't tell me. It was like, I was like, "Oh, no. He told me." And I was like, "Andy, why'd you tell JD that, you didn't tell me?" He's like, "No, I didn't tell him." It was just like, what? This is so goofy. So anyway, regardless, people were pissed that I put that out there, but he told me, I think, with the idea that I would put it out there. But so you always had some of those situations going down. But listen, he was great for the organization at the time, and he won a lot of games in L.A. too, man.
Yeah, he did.
And he was always very involved with that Shattuck St. Mary's program for years.
Yeah.
Years, man, going back to Parisi and those guys when they were there with his son Brady.
And then the EJ situation, man.
Yeah, I know.
Can you imagine if you're a fucking coach and then all the boys are going down the Lake of the Ozarks 2 weeks before training camp.
That's not smart.
And then we fucking do that thing with EJ.
They counted on you, dude. They counted on you.
And we're
guys.
literally driving to the clubhouse at night, and everybody's like, "Where's EJ and Cam and Jay McKee?" And our golf cart's like, because it was so fucked up, and then there's no lights on the front, and everybody's sitting at the fucking Portachima clubhouse staring at us, and EJ screaming, fuck. And then
let's get to him though, eh?
And then we're fucking, we wanted to get a helicopter to pick up EJ, but it didn't work that way. And then Andy had to sit there with fucking EJ's fucking huge picture on the wall right next to his hotel. Can't wait to see this guy play. No, he's out for 18 months because he got in a golf cart accident. That sucked. And then Andy had to deal with that shit. Hey, EJ's had a hell of a career. We're going to get his ass on.
EJ's had a great career. All right, we got to get to Andy Murray. We've been talking. I know we haven't done the show the last couple of weeks, so now we got a lot of energy and everything, but we got to get down to business here because there's always the Chemistry Podcast, including episode number 272, is Fueled by First Form, Cam, and firstform.com, baby. Now is the time. It's January. Get your life in order.
Oh,
Get
God.
organized.
How many LBs have you put on?
Oh, man.
Fuck. God, I can't stop eating. I know when I get home.
Well, this guy's drinking Coke left and right.
I'm drinking beer right now, but oh God, I can't. I got my mind right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll do it too.
Yeah, I got my mind right.
Like-
a little too much.
Like
no big deal.
Jake Browning's wife, by the way.
Jake Browning's wife. I don't know. It kind of turns me on.
What is that outfit?
That looks fucking.
She had to have
stupid.
that made.
It looks stupid.
And his
but,
parents are in the
but
box and everything.
But that looks sexy. Oh, looks. What is she? A snowman?
I don't know.
I know. That's kind of hot though.
I kind of like that.
I know.
What do you think Joe Burrow's thinking? Like, dude.
I'll beat that up.
No, he's like, dude. I'm like the franchise quarterback. Like, I get
She
hurt,
wants to be Taylor Swift.
and now we got.
Well, have your wife dress like that, and she'll get attention.
You got Taylor Browning over here just doing her thing.
She looks sexy.
First Form and firstform.com. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. It's going to save you lots and lots of money.
Damn right. First Farm.
Or actually, that's not what it is. See, I'm rusty right now. I am rusty. Firstform.com/Cam and Strick.
Yeah, okay.
Use our link. Use our link for the bars, the protein powder, the apparel, everything. These energy drinks.
Look at these bad boys.
Oh,
right
those
here.
are the protein sticks.
20 grams of protein makes you horny and have energy.
Well, no, this will give you energy right here.
Oh, fucking.
And that's the protein. So if you combine the two, I don't know what'll happen.
Walking Tyrannosaurus, baby. Sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Firstform.com/Cam and Strick. Use our link. Tell them why.
Well, it's going to save you up money, for one.
Yeah.
And you're going to be hooked up with all kinds of different things. Meaning, like, you have energy drinks, you have the protein, you have the gut health.
Yes.
You have protein.
Heart health.
Heart health. You have the vitamins. You have the clothing line.
They have stuff for kids.
This is First Farm right here, baby.
Mhm.
I look kind of sexy. And then look at their website. They have all kinds of shit for you, and not to mention they'll tell you.
Yes.
They'll have a
Life
real person,
coach, man.
have a life coach, and be like, "Here's what you do.
Yeah.
Here's how you work
Give
out."
First Form Nick
Because
a
like
shout
if you're like
out, will
Andy
ya?
and you don't know what the fuck you're doing at the gym, and you walk around and talk to people and annoy everybody the whole fucking time, we don't want that. We want you to be focused. So therefore, they have people tell you exactly what to do with
Very
your workouts.
disciplined.
Yeah, and so you don't walk around and talk to everybody
No.
like a jackass would
Right.
do. You know.
Firstform.com/Cam and
Yeah.
Strick. Yeah, that was well said, Cam.
Thank
The Illinois Recovery Center, baby.
Man, it's that time of year where you know who's who and what's what, especially during the holidays when you have everybody over. I've said that a million times. So it's right there in Swansea, Illinois. Clayton Keller, All-Star, just got
His fourth trip to the
fourth
All-Star
trip.
game.
He's right there in Swansea, Illinois. It's right across the river in St. Louis. They got it all. They're willing to help you. And you know, if you are an addict, which I know a lot of you are because I hear you and you guys message me and I love it. And I know a lot of you are doing good and I know some of you still need a lot of help. But if you go there and you talk to people and you talk to fucking Chrissy Pondoff or Eric Conley, they're not like, "What's going on with you?" Like nothing worse than talking to a doctor who has no idea what the fuck you've actually been through. Those guys have been through hell and back. They know what the hell you're going through and they know how to help you. They are the real deal. That's Illinois Recovery Center. Check them out. Go to IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com and they will help you.
888
I don't give a fuck where you're from.
743-0971.
I got Canadians going down there. Let's go. Get it done.
Message me and I can get you in touch with Eric or Chrissy, and I can get you in touch with Cam too if you want to message Cam.
Why would you get?
He can,
why
no,
wouldn't you just message me?
well,
I got all my shit
or
open.
message Cam. Well, some people like Wayne, for example. I'm not saying he needs it, but
Dwayne.
like Dwayne, he ain't messaging
Man,
you.
he's
mad
that
at
made
you.
me sad.
He's mad
like
at
I don't
you.
want people to hate.
He's mad at you.
He's the one guy. Like
Dwayne, let's have
Dwayne,
him, like
I love you.
reach
homie.
out to me. We're gonna
Dude, I messaged
get
you.
everything worked
I know
out,
your
man.
last name. I'm not going to say it because I don't want people
No.
to chirp you. But I love you, dude. I didn't mean to be like that. Just convince me, and we'll talk about it. It's all good, baby.
Yeah. Good point. Illinois Recovery Center, IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com. Again, 888-743-0971.
That's it.
So
Swansea, Illinois.
reach out to us, and we'll get you in touch with Chrissy or
Eric. Yep.
Yeah. Tesson Roofing and TessonRoofing.com. Cam, I was at a ice rink over the weekend, and on the dasher board, it said Tesson Roofing.
That's my shit kicker right there, baby. That's my shit kicker. He knows there's going to be some hardcore shit coming up here. The weather's getting nasty. Everybody in St.
Did you
Louis.
see that tornado in Fort Lauderdale?
Of course I did.
Oh, dude, that had to be an EF4.
Yeah, it's F1.
No, it was not, dude.
That went right through downtown, and it did not that much damage.
Really?
That is an EF0 to EF1.
That's what I had in my backyard.
No, a weird thing did happen in Miami, Florida the other day. Just so all y'all know. And there was 1,000 police officers at a mall.
Oh, my God, with the aliens?
What the fuck was that?
But they were kids shooting off fireworks or some shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you think it was aliens?
No, but I think there's a little bit more to it.
Well, we don't know.
Why would you have that?
They had more police presence in response to that than like
anything I've ever seen in my life. Why?
Well, tell me.
Did you hear a gunshot? Was there been any bullets?
No. Tell me what happened.
Don't know.
So why do you think they responded?
That's the thing.
Well, you said why do you think that is? So explain what you mean when you say that.
We don't know.
What are you implying?
I'm implying there's something else to it. Now, is there fucking 10-foot mutants creeping around? I don't know. No. But there's something to it. Why the fuck did that happen? Weird. That's all. Listen, everything's on the table now. If you really dig into things, you really read, everything's a fucking lie for the most part. Now, how much of a lie is it? We don't know. But you got to, like, I am weary on everything.
Well, Tesson Roofing, baby.
There's going to be some nasty storms coming, baby.
Yeah, well,
I told you about that.
You've said that. We haven't seen them yet, but.
Oh, you have in the South? I'm sorry. You can tell those 5 people that died in that tornado down south the other day.
I'm not referring to that.
Is that what you're talking about?
No.
I'm sorry about that.
No,
Andy.
I'm not. Not
No,
referring.
don't worry about you guys down there, because Andy says
No.
it hasn't happened here yet. What the fuck did I say?
You said
The
here.
Dixie Alley is going to get rocked, and I told you.
You've never said Dixie Alley.
You
on
know
the
what I'm
show
talking about with
once
Dixie
or-
Alley?
You've never said it.
Yes, I have.
You've never referred to anything as Dixie Alley.
Dixie Alley?
I've
Tornado Alley?
I've never heard you refer to anything as Dixie Alley on this show.
We talked about it last episode, you dumb fuck.
You find
I told
me.
you. No.
Someone send it to me. When did Cam call
This
something
motherfucker.
Dixie Alley?
Listen, you want to chirp me with Jamal Maris about not coming? Fine. I won't even fucking come out and hang out with kids anymore. But I know
No, you're
about
invited.
weather.
You're invited
No,
next
oh,
year.
yeah, I'll
No,
come
you're
out. Yeah,
invited.
sure. I'll be out there next time. Well, as long as your wife brings out fucking Bloody Marys, I will.
Oh yeah, we
That
had.
was sweet of her, by the way. She's a sweetheart.
my
I love your
idea.
wife. I like your wife way more than you and Jammer.
We had donuts too,
Yeah, I know. But
and
It's
some
okay.
and mimosas.
well, now you're gonna have to have a lot more things for me to come out.
No problem. We're gonna take it to the
Good.
next level next.
My
next
point
year.
is,
Yeah.
I said Dixie Alley is gonna get rocked because that's where everything is trending now. Is where tornadoes go down
Where's
south.
Dixie?
Alabama, Louisiana,
Tennessee,
area,
Mississippi.
Mississippi. They get fucking rocked. That's the Dixie Alley tornado range.
Okay.
And that's what's happening. And they got rocked the other
Okay,
day,
so
too.
tie that in with Tesson Roofing.
But that's what I just fucking said.
Oh.
And you're like, you never brought up Dixie Alley. I go, I did it last fucking week or 2 weeks
Tie
ago.
it in, will you?
I just did. February, we're going to get rocked. It's going to be 20 degrees and it's going to be 72 one day. And that's when the tornadoes are going to go.
Okay, it ain't gonna be 72. 72 in January?
February. It will.
Really?
It's happened before.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
right.
if it happens, I'll tell you that you said it.
And it's
But if
gonna
it
get
doesn't,
rocked by
if it
tornadoes.
doesn't happen, you owe me $100.
Okay, I'll give you $100. Jesus.
I'm just throwing that out there.
It's not that big of a deal, but I'm just letting you know. Like,
Well,
you
Dixie
pay attention.
Alley.
Dixie Alley. You'll see.
Yeah, the weatherman. Tesson Roofing, TessonRoofing.com. Get that nano shield too.
Yeah.
Now's a good time to do that
Big time.
because you don't want to wait for the summer and all that. So this is a great time to do that. Nano shield, nanotech. Listen, when your house is like hot in the summertime, that's because it's not protected the right way to bring that temperature down inside your
Hey, I'd rather my
residence or
house be
commercial
cold
building.
than be hot.
Do you know I kept my house very cold last night? People were complaining in my house this morning how cold it was, but I was a little hot at night because I've got the nano shield up top. You know?
It's easier to cool. It's easier to warm up.
Yeah.
And blankets with
Yes.
the
Oh, I
puppies
just
and the
loved it.
family.
I
love it.
Slept so great last
Put the
night.
blankets on you.
Yeah.
Put the fireplace on. Do your thing. But when you're smoldering hot and you walk in your house
do it.
and you're fucking down to 65 degrees and your fucking bills go out there, that's where the nano shield helps.
Yeah,
you
it
want to
does.
cool your
Yeah.
house down in the summer more than heat it
Although-
up, unless you're living in Antarctica.
I know. But Blay was like, he woke me up in the middle of the night at 2:30.
Put a
barking.
blanket
He was-
over him.
No, he was barking. He wanted to go outside.
Okay. Well, fine. Andy, that's what dogs do. Like Andy makes. My dog woke me up, wanted to go outside. Everybody's like, "Whoa, that's unique." God.
All right, Tesson Roofing, TessonRoofing.com. All right, Sparks and Sparks.com, SparksHockey.com, actually.
What's that motherfucker up to?
Seth, did you hear from him over the break?
I know what he did.
You saw that picture I put up on the...
I know what he did.
You saw that picture I put up.
Did I?
Well, yeah, because at the hockey shop where Seth works, man, this is why you get your own Sparks. You see all those skates? You have to wait. You have to leave your skates and come back like 3 hours later, dude.
exactly.
I sharpen my skates. I swear to God, in 5 minutes, I'm done without leaving my house.
Yeah. How nice is that?
It really is the most convenient thing I've ever
You
had.
want to like drive to somewhere and then there's a line and the kid's like 15 years old. His eyes are all fucking glazed over and he's sharpening your skates before you go to that big tournament, big Pee Wee Quebec tournament and shit like that. Fuck you.
So I was supposed to go to that dinner last night. I had such a crazy day, Cam. I didn't get home from hockey until 8 o'clock.
He's not happy with both of us.
No.
Not at all.
What are you going to do?
Nothing. I'm going to go to nothing. I'm going to nowhere. Don't even ask me anymore.
Oh, for the rest of the winter?
Rest of the winter.
Yeah,
I'm off. I'm not doing anybody any more favors.
Okay, no problem.
And Jammer, distinct Jammer. Distinct Jammer.
Oh, his Pee Wee Quebec year will be next year. So we'll have to go to that next year. Yeah.
I didn't make that team either, by the way.
Oh,
so they always want me to go to the Pee Wee Quebec tournament. And I'm like, I didn't make that fucking team. What am I going to say to the kids?
Hey, but Seth, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to.
Well, he's a psycho. He's sniffing underwear is what he's doing. I'm just saying.
Is he doing that?
Yeah, he's collecting bones and sniffing underwear.
Okay.
Get away from that kid. He's a weirdo.
So don't go to the hockey shop.
Don't go to the hockey shop.
Get your own
shit.
Sparks. SparksHockey.com.
Yeah, your kid's playing every damn day. Just
get it
fucking
today.
Do it.
Use the promo code Cam and Strick. You're going to save more money than Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And ain't that something?
That's something.
SparksHockey.com. Say that to the people.
SparksHockey.com. Check that mug out.
And
get away from Seth.
And use the promo code Cam.
Cam and Strick. Use the promo code Cam and Strick.
you.
We've said that.
Yeah.
Use the promo code. Hook yourself up. Get away from fuckboy Seth, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Put that in your own hands.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Jesus.
All right, Bellman and Bellman.com. At Bellman, you get no what, Cam?
Swinging dicks.
You do get sushi and flavored water. There's a lot of things you can get, and you get the best service you'll find anywhere. And everybody gets approved, man. Everybody qualifies.
That's nice right there. The sushi shit is just so...
And they want
that's
your
a shtick
used car. No.
And he doesn't have any shticks. Like he's trying to be something. He doesn't know what he is yet. So he's like, flavored water and sushi.
Yeah, well...
And people like roll their eyes. And even Bellman's probably like, shut the fuck up on that, you know?
No, it's true.
Because it's a lie.
No, it's true.
But like you do get pre-approved and if
everybody
you have
gets
bad credit,
approved.
you'll be okay.
Buick GMC on one side of the street. On the other side is Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the winter, man. Winter is coming.
Oh, it's here.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay.
I got taco soup waiting for me when I get home.
Oh,
Kate's
God.
got the house
Did
is
she make
perfect.
that?
Yeah. And I'm going to walk in and the puppy's going to be like, Cam, my daddy, I love you. And the boo-boo's going to be right there.
Do you know what
like,
Laurie made last night? Veggie soup.
I'll eat that.
Oh, dude, with veggie broth, beans, celery, carrots.
I like all that.
It was
I
incredible.
want meat in there, though.
You can put some in there, and it's my kids will eat.
Hey, what if we
we're
were
not anti-meat.
What if we were? Listen to me.
Mhm.
What if we were stuck in the Andes Mountains?
Yeah.
And we're like, and you're like, I'm starving. And we're like, we gotta fucking cut this piece of meat off. Eat this, Andy.
Well,
I'd be like, eat this.
a human.
And you're like, I'm a vegetarian. Andy, we gotta survive.
A
You
hu-
got 3
a
kids.
human body?
Like, I'm gonna carry you up that fucking
a
mountain.
human body.
I'll carry Andy up the mountain because I know Ty and little Ivy and Chloe and Lori they're like, where's my daddy? And I'll carry Andy. I'll fucking put him like a backpack, but he's got to eat something. And Andy's gonna be like, what kind of meat is that? Well, it's human meat.
I'll eat one of those beef sticks,
Fucking
dude.
eat that
I'll
mug,
eat
dude.
one of
Would
those-
you eat it? If I'm gonna take care of you and
Yeah.
carry you 12
for
miles,
for survival.
would you eat that?
I mean, I'd have no choice, but I would not want to eat a human being, especially with those Angori people. Which
See, that's why I want to if I'm gonna get stranded somewhere, it's gonna be with Andy, because he's gonna be so picky where I'll eat everything and he's gonna die.
I'm like, I'm
Although
okay,
gonna have to
guys.
I'll have to carry him.
I'm okay, guys. Go ahead. You
I'd have to
you
carry
eat that
Andy
one.
30 fucking miles, but he'd be like skinny as shit. I'll put him in my pocket or something. I'd save you, dude. I would save you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Bellman and Bellman.com, baby.
Andy
Andy Murray
swinging
tried to
dicks.
save you, baby. Andy Murray, episode 272.
Yeah.
Fueled by First Form, baby.
First Farm.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by First Form, baby. Use our link and do it today. www.firstform.com/camandstrick.
Get jacked now. They are the real deal.
Get that protein, check out the apparel, eat those bars, and drink those energy drinks. Firstform.com/camandstrick.
Yeah.
Now on to the interview. Are you calling Cam professional? Is that what you just said?
Well, I just, I look at where you guys started and so on, and getting into the business, and to me, it's you're the same as me. You want to stay in the hockey business. You're trying to avoid getting real jobs. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done my whole life. And yeah, it's fun seeing you guys be this successful. And when you look at the different people that you've had on, it's kind of interesting now. When you guys make calls to people, they call you back.
Yeah.
And you've had some pretty special people on there, and obviously you express your opinion, but you're fair to everybody.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
We try to be.
Yeah.
We try to be for sure.
Yeah.
And you're way smarter now because you went back to school, Andy. See, you went back to college, and now you're smarter than all of us.
Well, I went back to college a long time ago, Andy. So
he's always been
that.
smarter than us.
Hey, I know that. Hey, but I'm curious though. When you went back to coach in college, did you ever teach a course? Like, did they say, "Hey, do you want to teach a course?" I could see you wanting to do that too.
No, I didn't want to do it, and I was busy enough with the coaching there. It's interesting when you coach college hockey. When you guys were playing, Cam, I didn't worry about you once you left the rink. But once, you're worried about certain guys, Oshie and all these young guys there when they were first there. But in college, they're living in the dorms. You're kind of their parent away from home, and they're 18 to 22-year-old guys, and they're going to have some fun. And so, yeah, you had a lot of things to worry about. You just didn't want to be getting those calls around midnight and so on. So didn't have too many of those.
Hey, listen, Andy, we just had a conversation just like this. We just hit record. So it's funny because we just had Jay Pandolfo on, who's coaching at BU, man, getting his take on coaching kids. It's different, right? There's a lot more to it. I mean, you coaching professional hockey, then going back to coach, elite, high level college hockey. There's a difference, right? It's not just the age, but the whole responsibility that comes with it's different, right?
Yeah, well, no question about it. Again, their parents aren't there, so you're stepping in for the parents. But it's interesting because when I got the job at Western, one of the things at the press conference was, how do you feel about coaching 20, 21-year-old hockey players after coaching pro hockey players? And I kind of looked at the age of the team that I had when I was with the Blues and the age of the team that I had at Western. We had some older guys that first year, and I'm looking – I think our team at Western might have been older because you remember all the young guys that we had in those first few years in St. Louis and Perron and Bergie and Osh and the whole crew there.
EJ,
Petro, all those guys, man.
Yeah, Petro.
Yeah.
Man, oh, man.
Yeah.
It's
didn't have EJ for that one whole year because of the golf outing.
Well, we're going to get into that.
Oh, let's break that down. That's the first topic. Although we have gotten into it. Jay McKee and Dan Hino came on the show.
Yeah. I will ask you that because you brought it up. What was your – I mean, we're going down the Lake of the Ozarks. Many legacies.
So are we on? Are we?
Yeah, we're just rolling.
We're just rolling,
but it's not live.
Yeah, it's not live, but we had stuff up. But when you did hear about that, though, Andy, we're going down the Lake of the Ozarks. Legacy sets this whole thing up. We're having a trip down there. When you heard about that incident, what was your first reaction to it?
Well, I think my wife got the call and she said, "You better take this call here," and. I got the word that Eric had been hurt in the golf outing and didn't get the full story. Just wanted to know, was he okay and how was he dealing with it and so on. And they said, well, it looks pretty severe and he may not be able to play this season. And so obviously, I didn't want to ask a lot of questions, Cam, because it doesn't matter. I mean, he's not going to be able to play. I can get into it and get disappointed in people or whatever. At that time, I didn't get the whole story, and I wasn't really worried about it. And I was worried about the fact we weren't going to have him because when I got off the freeway, right where I lived at the Sheridan, right beside the arena downtown there was a big sign about Eric Johnson joining our team and what a good player he was and so on. So I saw that every day, and I realized I wasn't going to have him that year. But, I just felt for him and how tough it must be. And then obviously, as it goes on, you hear the story and you just kind of shake your head, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Man, yeah, that was tough news. I remember when all that went down, too, and JD calling, and they're all on a speakerphone in the office, and then saying, hey, here's what happened. We're gonna put this out here soon But here's what happened before we put it out. Like, just make sure we're all on the same page in terms of what's being said. But, man, that was crazy. Hey, listen, you left St. Louis, but you ended up back in college, as we know. Like, was that something you were pursuing? Like, were you hoping to stay in the NHL? Like, why go coach at the college level? Like, what was so intriguing about that for you?
Well, I think you guys know me, and I'm passionate about coaching, but I'm also passionate about life. And you only make this trip through life once. And, I'd been an NHL coach for close to 20 years. I coached at the Canadian college level, coached major junior in Canada. But one thing I'd never done was coach U.S. college hockey. And right at that time, there were some NHL teams that had called me, but I had made my mind up that I wanted to try U.S. college level, and thought I would do it for a year or two. We bought a house down in North Naples, and we were going to spend some time there. I'd agreed to be a consultant with an NHL team, and life was going to be a little more relaxed. And I went to Western for a visit. Jamal Maris called me. He was an alum of Western Michigan, and said, "Coach, you don't want to be stopping right now. We need a coach at Western." And I went there and interviewed for the job. Unfortunately, they offered it to me, and it wasn't 1 year or two. I ended up staying 10 and enjoyed every minute of it. And, I'm a college football groupie, so hanging out at all their practices and the games and the life. And the other thing, I think when you're around a young group of athletes like that, or students on campus, it tends to keep you young too. And so I did really enjoy that. And, just got to the point after 10 years, I wanted to do some other things and things that I never had a chance to experience. So I'm trying to do some of those things right now.
It's pretty nice. So when you go from, traveling in the NHL level, and then you go to college, like, is it like you're playing on the weekends? It's a nice, you get a break every single week. I feel like it's a little different.
Yeah, no question about it. And one of the things that was wearing on me at the NHL level, Cam, was the travel, like the constant travel. And I saw a Hitch on something that you did with Hitch the other night, Andy, where he was talking about getting in a hotel room, and when he didn't know what his room number was and had to go check the door every time he needed something, you start to realize that maybe you've been traveling too much there. So to me, it was the grind of the travel. And the one thing at college, I always thrived in practice. To me, the players play the games, the coaches do their work in practice. And in college hockey, you practice 4 times a week and you play 2 games on the weekend. So I enjoyed that part of it as well.
Listen, there's so much to go into from your career, but I'm curious, like, how you got the coaching bug. Like, were you like a player growing up? Did you fall in love with the game at a young level? I mean, I was looking at some stats, and you had like one season you scored like 30 goals and 30 assists, a lot of balance there. So the coach is putting you out there in all situations. I mean, you're scoring, you're getting assists, but was professional hockey ever in the cards? And like, when did you start thinking about potentially, making a career out of coaching?
Well, I mean, in those days, we didn't have the number of teams that we have right now. And I'm an old guy here. So, you aspire to be a pro player, and certainly realize after playing some senior A hockey and that wasn't going to be in the cards. And I never really thought a lot about coaching. My family had an automobile dealership, and I thought I would play senior hockey and get involved in that. And I happened to get a call. I was 25 years old, and as I said, I was playing senior hockey and helping run my father's dealership. And I got a call from my uncle, who was one of the owners of the Brandon Wheat Kings in the Western League, and they had a junior A affiliate team in Brandon as well, and they had fired their coach at the start, right after the 3rd game of the season, because they had problems with brawls the year before. They played 3 games, and they had 2 brawls in the 3 games. And he called me and said, "You're going to coach the Travelers tomorrow night." And I said, "Uncle Claire, I don't know anything about coaching at all, but I'll do it." So I started coaching at 25 years of age, ran a morning skate that next morning, and I apologize to all those players for all the mistakes I made that year, but that's how I got into coaching. So got the passion for it, loved it. And, again, it became a battle every year to make sure I didn't have to get a real job, and just wanted to stay in the game.
So when you first started coaching, when you're in a locker room, we're like, okay, I'm going to draw up a game plan here. And then the guys are like, well, I don't know about this. Like, could they second guess you? That, you know, like that must have been pretty difficult trying to put together practices and game plans and systems.
Yeah, well, Cam, you know I don't have any problem having meetings or those kind of, and probably way too many of them. But right from the get-go, I had to be organized. I had everything scripted out, what I was going to say before the game, what I was going to say at different times, and our systems and that. And I had played for some good coaches in college and so on. So I had certainly a basis as well. My family was big into hockey. My dad was a passionate hockey guy. And so I'd been around the game a fair amount. And again, these were young hockey players that had just come to Brandon. They were 16, 17 years old. We were always the youngest team in the league because we were a development team for the Wee Kings. And so these kids were all ears, and whatever I asked them to do, they did. Unfortunately, we had some success right away. And that's the key thing in coaching. When you take a job on, it's making sure you have success right away. That's how you develop a career, is by having immediate success. There's lots of coaches that aspire to get to a level and they're not ready to do it. And pretty soon they fall off the mountain and they can't get back up again. So yeah, to me, it was just believing in yourself and trusting what you were doing.
Listen, we just had Dean Evison on, and he talked about your preparation, which is legendary, really, when you think about, your coaching style. And listen, everybody always talks about you putting the game plan underneath the hotel room door. Cam obviously knows that, but
I love it.
So much was made of it when you played here. But I asked Hugh McGing the other day, who's now up with the Blues, I said, was he still doing that in college? He said, oh, yeah, he was still putting the game plan underneath the hotel room door before games. So you never changed, man. Whose idea was that? When did you start doing that?
I don't know when I started it, Andy. It was just, and to me, everybody talks. In fact, Cam, you're maybe the first player that's actually said you enjoyed it. So I don't know if you're being honest with me.
He says it all the time.
I say it all the time. I did.
He wanted to know what
I didn't know what's going on.
So it was basically about 5 points that were the key points for the game that night. And my thought was, I think it showed the players that I was prepared and I was doing my job and I expected them to do theirs. Now, I wasn't sure how many of them were going to read it, but it was something that I consistently did. In fact, you weren't there, Cam. It was my first year when I got to St. Louis, and we had a line of Keith Walt, and we had Dougie Waite and Billy Guerin. And one of my first games was in Nashville with the Blues, and we're playing there. And Billy, had, being the guy he was, he'd heard that I sometimes in meetings on morning skates would ask questions about the sheet that I put under the door. And they're sitting together, Walt's in the middle, Billy's on one side, and Dougie's on the other in the Nashville dressing room. And I asked a question, you guys, what do we need to focus on the forecheck tonight? And Billy, I see him kind of rocking in his chair or his stall like this and looking up, and he puts his hand up right away and he says, we're going to really try and take away their D-to-Ds. Nashville likes to use a lot of D-to-Ds. We're going to jump that guy and get on him right away. And all the guys are looking around, and he's got the answer perfect. I ask another question, and Billy answers it right away, and I see him rocking in his stall. And Walt and Dougie can hardly contain themselves while I'm talking, and they're kind of laughing and snickering. And we go through that little 5-minute meeting, and Billy gets about 6 of the things right away. And afterwards, Walt brings me over to the stall, and Billy's got it taped to the top of his locker on the inside, and he's looking up at it all the time. He wasn't going to not get it right there. So, yeah, no, another time we were actually, it was in Nashville again. It was when I was coaching the Kings. And normally I would go down at 6 a.m. and get the copies made. And everybody thought I had the equipment guys or one of the hockey ops guys take the sheet. I took them around every morning about 6:30. I'd get them copied, and then I'd slide them under the door. And for some reason, the photocopy machine wasn't working in Nashville at the hotel. So we had to wait a while. So I was late getting them out. I think I was around 8:30 in the morning, and Rob Blake and Matty Nordstrom were rooming together. And I was late getting it there. And Rob being came to the door and being a smart ass, he said back to Matty, he said, Matty, how am I going to play tonight? I don't have my sheet under the door. And I slid it under. I said, "Here, smart ass, here's your sheet there." But yeah, you had fun with it. And I never took it too serious, but it was just my way of showing that I was prepared, and hopefully the team was.
Hey, the old story is Big Walt would put the towel underneath the door so you couldn't get it through, right?
There was lots of that, but I knew he was doing that, so I had other ways of getting back at him. But yeah, he was obviously, as we all know, he's a character. Was a big part of my coaching career, actually. When I was in Winnipeg as an assistant, he was a young player there, and then we got together in St. Louis. And at that point, Keith's career was kind of, I think, winding down a bit. And I heard that before I got there, just from John Davidson, that Keith wasn't necessarily staying out late. He was getting on the ice sometimes a little bit later for practice. And I said, "Tell you what, I need you to be a leader. I want you to be one of the first guys out there, and if you need a day off, just come and talk to me, and you need a day off, you'll get a day off. But I just need you to take on that leadership." And I said, "I'm going to make you a center iceman because I think it's going to make you move your feet more." And he's obviously, we know the big body that he is, and a Hall of Fame player and so on. But Walt was a great competitor, and having him on that Blues team was a highlight for sure.
Yeah, man, he was. And you guys had some funny back and forth in the locker room, and
he wasn't afraid to call me on anything there, Cam, as you know. I don't know if you remember the one time, but I came in the morning for a practice, and somehow Walt had got a picture of me when I was 6 years old. And Mom and Dad told me I had to take figure skating before they'd let me play hockey. So it's the end of the year figure skating carnival, and I'm in this picture with my buddy who didn't want to be there either. And these other 6 girls, and my buddy and I were there. We've got these rabbit outfits on, like a full suit of rabbit. We got bunny ears up like this, and Walt's got the picture up on the big screen in front of the room there, and he's got written below it, "Aren't you proud of our coach?" But I mean, he what a great guy he is, and what a great ambassador for St. Louis there with his involvement with youth hockey, the exploits of his 3 kids, not only his 2 sons but his daughter as well. He's great for the community.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Hey, but you always had you're always like a stickler with time, It's funny because like the last couple people we've had on have been coaches, and they're always in the waiting room.
Yeah.
They're ready to go before we even like go to them for these interviews, man. They're always on time. But you'd have like your practices would start like, it wouldn't be 10 o'clock, it'd be 10:02 or 10:03, right? You get off the ice at like 11:37. I mean, the last guy after the whistle would have to skate a lap. I always felt bad for these like NHL guys, the last one to get to the board, on the wall when you're about to demonstrate the next drill, would have to skate a lap around the ice. But you always stuck to that, Did you have fun with that deep down? Was it something that you enjoyed doing? Like, what made you want to stick with that all the time with your different teams?
Well, I learned about time very quickly early in my NHL career, and it involves actually Doug Armstrong, and we're in Moscow with the Minnesota North Stars, and Doug was our director of team services at that time, and we were pretty tired of the food in Moscow, and we'd gone in the preseason tournament, and we'd gone to this McDonald's, and Doug was our team services guy, so everybody was on the bus. And Bob Gainey said the bus is leaving at this time, and we called it Gainey time. You didn't miss it. And so Doug's inside paying the bill for the team, for all of us. I'm sure he didn't know where the hotel was in Moscow. His wife is on the bus. All our wives are there. It's 10 o'clock, and Bob Gainey says, "We're leaving." And everybody's yelling, "It's 10, Doug Armstrong's not on the bus here." We took off and left him there. And I don't know how Army got back to the hotel or what went on. But to me, I've always been, I think being on time is important. If you're a couple of minutes late, you're a couple of minutes late. Why not be on time? So, yeah, I was a stickler on that. And the other part about practice being 47 minutes or 33 minutes rather than just a half hour or whatever, you want to be exact. But the other side of it was just a matter of having fun. And I remember we had a player join the LA Kings when Rob Blake was our captain partway through the season. I remember the player I could hear him asking Rob, is the practice really going to be 42 minutes? And Rob said it's going to be 42 minutes. So we tried to do that just to make sure. And the idea of skating the lap, Andy, you're a hockey coach. And Cam, I don't know if you got into coaching at all, but to me, the idea of blowing the whistle and bringing everybody in gives you probably another 5 or 6 minutes in your practice, because guys lollygag in and they come in slow and they're hanging, or they come down and they go down on their knees. And I never liked the guys being on their knees. Stand up, and you're a hockey player. Don't lean on the boards or whatever. But it was done for a reason. So it always, I think gave us 3 or 4 minutes. And the other thing is, I used to like to try and catch guys that were maybe having a bad practice. Or when we had Ty Domi in Winnipeg, and Walt will tell you this, all the guys, Ty was a guy that talked a lot and did a lot of things. We always used to like to catch Ty down at the end, and the guys would say, blow the whistle now, and I'd blow it, and then Ty would automatically be the last guy in. But yeah, it was just something done for fun, and just something that I did as a coach. And it's interesting, and I know in St. Louis, they have just gone through a coaching change, and I coached Chief Craig Berube in Philadelphia there, know what kind of coach he is, and so on. And in coaching, there's a book of winning and there's a book of losing. When the team's winning, you can open the book and everybody will say, well, they had great structure, they play with energy, coach gives them confidence, they're in great shape, all these different things. And then when you start losing a few games, you go to the book of the losing, and the coach is too structured, there's too many meetings, all the things that were positive on the winning side are now in the losing book there. You go to a press conference, you're going to be asked certain kinds of questions when you're winning, and you're going to be asked certain kind of questions when you're losing. I don't think Chief did anything different, and obviously was a Stanley Cup winner there, but it's just the inevitability of coaching.
I do remember the first time you got me in practice, and I was way over in the corner, one of the first practices, and you blow the whistle, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I skate around as fast as I can, and I came to spray the guys, and I fell, and I ran right into Jamal Mayers and almost killed him with my skates. And I think he was mad at me for like 4 weeks after that.
Oh, he still is.
Oh, no, he's still mad at me.
He's still mad at you.
I marked his skates up. It was pretty dangerous, Andy. It was pretty dangerous.
Yeah, no, I after that, I kind of tried to avoid blowing the whistle on you there, because you might kill me.
Kill somebody.
Oh, my God.
Because one of the things that I liked about you as a player, Cam, and sometimes as coaches, we don't express our feelings as much as we should during the time. But, I'm sure I talked to you about it. But one of the best, or two of the better tough guys that I coached were Shane Churla in Minnesota and Basil there, a favorite of everybody's in St. Louis. But, you weren't just somebody that could fight. You were an effective hitter. Like, you would hit through guys, and you knew how, when the team needed a lift, to get things going. And, in a lot of cases, the top guys in those days, they couldn't do anything else. And if you didn't fight them, they weren't going to be being involved in the game. I mean, you had no problem as a player hitting top-end players on the other team. I mean, your first, I think, fight that really established you was when you hit Coberly in Toronto, and then you had to go and hit Vilak. And I enjoy your comments on that hit. You said, I maybe hit him a little bit late. I would say about 30 seconds too late. but you crushed him. And then one of the other things I remember watching is, you're racing for a puck, and Patrick Waugh is coming out of the net. Not Patrick Waugh, Carey Price is coming out of the net to handle the puck, and you went right through him. There was no stopping you on that one there. So, I mean, those are the kind of things you respect in players.
I know.
Appreciate that.
One of the best, honestly, highlights ever. Hey, go check that out if you haven't seen it, of Cam running Carey Price. Carey came out of the net, though. It was like free game.
I got a penalty, though.
Hey, remember when Manny Legacy hurt his knee when Sarah Palin was there, when the carpet was down? I mean, as a coach, Andy, if they come back to you and they say, hey, our starting goaltender just got hurt, he just hurt his knee because the carpet was down on the ice because Sarah Palin was dropping the ceremonial puck, are you like, you got to be kidding me here? Like, this is absolutely crazy. Insane.
Yeah, I mean that's not one of the things that you're anticipating happening for sure. But I don't know if I was worried about Manny there. I was more interested in seeing Sarah Palin drop the puck there. But yeah, no, that was a tough one. I think there were a few words exchanged over that situation for sure.
Oh yeah,
Was
sure.
we had so many young guys, David Perron, Osh, EJ, Bergie, myself, like this, it's a ton of guys. When you look at David Perron and how he was when he was 18, 19, Walt's getting pissed at him in practice. He's doing different things. He was kind of like a little standoffish. He was very, very confident in himself at a young age. Like where he was then and where he is now. I mean, it's unbelievable the way that kid matured. Isn't it true?
I totally agree with you there, Cam. I mean, David was an interesting young guy, and I'm so proud of the way he's developed. Even what he just did recently got suspended for. I don't know if that would have happened at that time there. He just has become such a team guy and a leader and a great player. And when you hear him do interviews, he says all the right things. But, we got David that year, and, his first year, you remember this, Andy, probably too, but David, I'm going into the equipment room, and there's this pair of skates on the rack, and they're completely white. Like there's some white and black that you see right now and so on, but these ones were completely white skates. You're a rookie. You're coming into training camp. Remember Walt and I looking at the skates, and Walt just shaking his head, and I don't know if I should have done it or not, but I said, well, we can't. What are we going to do here? So we took them down and gave them to Bert, and Bert painted them.
He did,
and
yeah.
painted them black, and Dave came to practice the next day, didn't say anything, and went out. But his maturation as a person and as a hockey player is just phenomenal. I can remember, and we didn't play David in any games at the beginning of that season because physically he wasn't ready. He spent some time in the weight room and worked on his strength and conditioning with Nelson for about 6 weeks, and then we got him into games, and he was physically able to play. The interesting thing with David showing is how young he was. I got a call from somebody in the financial office with the Blues after we'd started the season, and as you know, in training camp, you got per diem. That's all you got. You got per diem, and he was a kid coming out of junior that wasn't making a lot of money, and so he got a pile of per diem there being a whole month, and he was living in the hotel. And I got a call about a month and a half into the season, and the financial person said, Andy, you got to tell David Perron he's got to cash his checks. We've got to keep them working through the system here. So I went to David and I said, David, have you got your checks from the team? And he said, yeah. He said, they're on the top of the TV in the hotel. He hadn't moved into a place yet. And I said, well, what are you living on? He said, I still got about $200 per diem left from training camp there. So, you got a rookie like that. And he didn't have a bank account. I don't think he knew how to write a check or anything. But what a person he's become. And he was always a lot of fun. He was just really naive.
Yeah. Well, he was learning the language still too.
Yeah.
And
he was.
And I think JD loaned him like $500 so he could go buy a pair of shoes. DJ King took him shopping to go buy some shoes. Guys were really taking him under his wing, but he's become truly, honestly, like one of my favorite players I've ever met. This past weekend, my son was in a hockey tournament in Detroit, Andy. He's 7 years old, and he's suspended right now. So he goes to the rink, takes pictures with all the boys, and to see the St. Louis kids, man. He's so passionate. He's still hurt that he's not here playing for the Blues. I don't know if he'll ever get over that, but I remember the training camp drill that you did. It was like a small area game where you bring the nets in, and Big Walt would always hang his head when you do these drills. He's like, somebody's going to get hurt, and the guys would battle so hard in this little small area. And he was really giving it to Walt. I mean, they were going at it hardcore, one-on-one, and just, David's, lifting his stick. He's stripping pucks. He's trying to body him. And Walt was going hard against him. And if I remember correctly, I think it caught your attention. It caught the team's attention. And I think it contributed. I don't think it was the main reason, but it certainly contributed to you guys keeping him around.
Oh, well, first of all, we needed him. We needed the young players to play at that time with the roster that we had. you know, we were looking to have some success. And yeah, David really impressed us with his compete level, continued to grow on that. And I can remember that particular drill, and the nets are only about 10 feet apart, and you're going to have contact for sure. And guys like Bear Jackman and other guys just really thrived on it. And Walt and David had that battle for sure. Walt, all he would do was stick his butt out there, and you couldn't get near him at all. And David would be using his quickness and darting back and forth, driving Walt crazy. But yeah, it was a drill that we did to learn how to battle in tight areas.
I remember doing that drill with Perry. I remember sitting a couple games out, and Rick Wamsley was bagging us, and we did the one-on-one, and Perry's toe dragging me. I'm rolling my ankle here and there, and I remember Wammer blowing the whistle down me, and he looks at me, he goes, "No wonder." And I'm like, oh, God. And I look at Perry, I'm like, I'm going to kill him. But I'm like, no, I got to work on some things and whatnot. But, no, I loved him. I loved him. And, you know, Oshie, you know, you see this kid, he comes in the locker room. He's got this big smile on his face. He's got these blushy cheeks. And you're like, what is this all about? And he goes out there, and he becomes so popular. I mean, the fans, the girls, everything. I've never seen anything like it. He was like a teeny bop superstar, like he was Bieber. He was Justin Bieber before anything. It was crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he obviously had the looks, and then the way he played the game, he had some offensive flair, no question about it. But as you guys remember, I mean, when Oshie hit somebody, he hit right through them. He wasn't hitting you on one shoulder; he was going to hit you on this one and drive you right through the other shoulder there. I mean, he had some big hits. I can remember in Columbus a couple of times where he stepped up in a couple of guys, and he had it all. He had good speed, and he did everything all out, no question about it, at the rink and away from the rink and so on. And I know he's matured since then as well too. And yeah, but what a competitor. I actually thought we had TJ at our summer development camp the year before, and I was kind of disappointed when he went back to North Dakota to play that next year, because I thought he was ready the year before there too. Yeah. But yeah, what a competitor and good player. He's kind of got a flair for shootouts too.
Hey, first off, before I get into the next question, Andy, where are you? I meant to ask you that. Are you in Minnesota? Where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm in Faribault. We have a home in and Faribault's where Shattuck St. Mary's is, where our kids went to school. My daughter's actually come back to coach here, so we're here. And normally we would have been in Florida at our place down there by now, but our daughter had our first grandchild a couple of weeks ago, so we're sticking around a little longer. So
it's not the house that you were in when you took the whole team back there for dinner, right? When the Blues would go play the Wild, you'd have the whole team there. Ruth would be cooking. Right? Ruth's cooking everything for everybody. So you're out of that house or no?
Yeah, no, we still have it. It's on a lake here, so we still have that house. We spend a couple of months here normally, and then we go up to Canada for a couple of months in the summer, and then we actually spent about 6 months in Florida last year, which was...
There you go.
I didn't know how I was going to handle that. We've had the house for 10 years, but I've never spent more than a week there. But we were there. Something to be said for going out in the middle of January and it's 75 degrees.
Hey, so, you know what? There's a lot of big Walt's building the place down there. I think Army is too. Al McInnes. You may have some neighbors down there here coming up.
Everybody wants to play down there too.
I know. Hey, listen, if you go back, I mean, even a guy like Petro, I mean, who's putting together a Hall of Fame career. I mean, who knows what this is going to look like when his resume is done, how many championships he's going to win. You know, he's going to have a chance to win another Stanley Cup this year with Vegas. But you guys sent him back 2 years in a row to junior. Like, he wasn't ready. I remember having a conversation with you, like, and I think a lot of people were curious, like, is this guy going to, you know, become the player that was worthy of a 4th overall pick? Like, were you ever questioning that? Did you think that he was going to get it together and eventually truly become like an elite player and a generational defenseman, really, which is what he's become?
I think with Alex Petrangelo, I think, you know, meeting him and watching him play and watching his videos in junior. And again, coaches aren't involved in the draft process at all. They don't want us messing up all the scouts' work that they've done during the year. But I mean, you could tell Petro had something about him. And I think in his case of going back to junior And then obviously spending some time down in Peoria as well is something that I think at times is missing with young players, getting them into line. And unfortunately, with some of our young guys, we had to put them right away because we didn't have anybody else. But when Petro came along after Eric, I think we decided to have him mature a little bit before I joined our team. And I think he was better for it. And obviously, brought a Stanley Cup to St. Louis. He was one of the key cogs of that. And then he's done the same thing in Vegas there. So he's having an unbelievable, I would say, going to be Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
Anybody of all those guys, Perron, Berglund. I remember when Berglund showed up to prospect camp, Andy. He didn't know what he was in for. I mean, he came on with us and he even talked about it. Like he just flew he didn't know he was coming for hard skates. He hadn't skated in weeks, and you got his attention right away. So you can touch on that. But all these guys, EJ, Perron, Berglund, Oshie, Petro, anybody surprised you? I mean, even Bergie, I know he left, but he still played well over 700 games before he left. All these other guys are going to be well over 1,000 when it's all said and done. Stanley Cup champions. Are you surprised about any of them? Or if I would have told you 15, 20 years, this is who they're going to be, you would have believed me back then?
I mean, I think they were all good players and all really good guys as well. I remember listening to an interview you guys did last year. I think it was with Bergie there in Sweden and so on. And yeah, I mean, I think they were all talented players. And I know with Bergie, his very first training camp, I think I shocked him with how hard the practices were and so on. I don't think he was ready for it. And then I met with him, I think his second day there. And Bergie was in my office sitting across from me. And he was, I'm sure, a little bit intimidated. And I said, what are your plans here, Bergie, in training camp and so on? He said, well, I just want to get a feel for it. And then I'm going to go back to Sweden and play for 3 or 4 years and then come back and I'll play for the Blues when I'm ready. And I said, Bergie, I want you to try and make this team tomorrow. We're not talking 3-4 years. I want you going out in this training camp to make an impression. So you're right away. I think I scared him, but to me, you wanted guys at training camp that were there to make the team because there were so many other guys who were dying for an opportunity. And, I think he mentally and physically matured and obviously was a key player in the success of the Blues.
I think he scored 21 goals his rookie season. And that was the year you guys made the playoffs, I think. And then you scratched him in the playoffs because he kind of he wore down in the play. I remember even Big Walt telling me during that playoff series, I think he was he's got to come out of the lineup. He's got to come out of the lineup, So, I mean, he just kind of wore down, but it is what it is, man. He had some great moments, maybe never achieved the status that people thought he would because he was this big centerman coming over from Sweden in the first round. But, when it's all said and done, you look at his numbers, man, this guy was around 20 goals, every year he played,
That's pretty good. I mean, he was a first-round pick, but that's still – those are good numbers. When we look at that year, I just kind of had the list here and anticipating maybe the question there. I mean, that year we I think in the last 11 or 12 games, I think we only lost 1 or 2 to get into the playoffs there.
Crazy.
One of the better feelings that I had being a St. Louis Blues coach was the last game we played at home when it was clear that we were going to win the game and we were going to qualify. I think the last 10 minutes, the crowd got up on their feet and cheered for about 10 minutes straight there. And it was just such a great feeling. Normally you don't notice the crowd that much, but that particular night you did. You kind of just put your head back and proud of the guys and what they'd done in the second half with the record that we'd had to get into the playoffs. But our leading scorers that year were Brad Boyes. David Backes was second. David Perron was third. Big Walt was fourth. Patrick was fifth. Andy McDonald, TJ Oshie. I mean, all our young guys were contributing right away there. So that was certainly good to see.
Oh, speaking of,
hey, real quick,
what?
Chris Mason played every game. Remember, you played him 30 consecutive games or something crazy.
He loved it though.
Down the stretch.
I mean, his save percentage was .916 and his goals against was .240, 2.41. You're going to win a lot of games that way. And Manny was our other goalie. Manny played some good games for us the year before, but that year Manny's save percentage was .885 and his goals against was 3.18. So we went with Chris, and both great guys, unique personalities. But Chris played really well for us.
Yeah, and he'd be hardcore in practice too. Like if you score on Mace in practice, he might whack you in the back of the leg. You shoot a little high, he's going to give you that look. No, he was intense, kept everybody on their toes. I like that in a goalie.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And speaking of another player that matured really quick, David Backes. You know what I mean? Like you first see him, you're like, okay, and then all of a sudden he just matures into this powerhouse, this leader. He had everything, had to look, his skill, big, tough, hit you. Like, my God, love him, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. He'd always played wing through college, and then that first year in the minors with us, he was playing wing. But I think the game of hockey, if you can get big centermen, we used Walsh as a center that year, and I looked at David as a center iceman. We moved him into the middle again. A big guy had helped get his feet moving, and the line of him and Lee Stepniak and so on. Jay McClement, and when Jay was there, David played the wing, or sometimes we moved Jay onto the wing. But that was an effective kind of a matchup line for us as well too, and they contributed offensively.
Andy, it was the gray line. Remember?
Yeah, the gray line. Yeah.
Come on now, it was Ryan Johnson,
Right.
Johnson, Jay McClement, and I'm trying to
RJ.
think who the third member of that. Maybe BJ Crombeen or something.
BJ. Love BJ.
Yeah.
You had the gray line. They gave you a ton of energy. I remember when Backes got called up, he played his first game.
Yeah.
I got in trouble with JD because I reported that that he was coming up, and I think you told me that he was coming. Just we don't need to get into it, Andy. But JD got mad. We got over it. We got through that one. But I remember how big his hands were. He was so mature when he first came up. I felt like you were dialed in on him, right? Like you both had that Minnesota background. You kind of knew who he was a little bit. We don't even talk about him. We're talking about EJ and all these other young guys. Man, but David Backes, man,
God,
what a career this guy had.
Yeah, that first game was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We called him up for, and you got in trouble for that. And I heard from JD about that as well too.
I know you did.
I wasn't to tell you anymore, but it was. I mean, yeah, great player. One of the kind of the disappointing things for me, and really excited when the Blues won the Stanley Cup. But the fact that David was on the other roster and wasn't with the Blues at that time, with all the work that he put in for the team and been a battler. And as you know, Cam, David would battle and so on. Wasn't the greatest fighter in the world, but would always show up there. And it was a great leader for that program. And I think helped lay the foundation for that team that won the Stanley Cup there as well too. So yeah, he was a great hockey player.
Yeah, great person too.
Yeah.
So you talk about the media in St. Louis and dealing with Andy and stuff. Who'd you have to battle with the most as far as the media is concerned?
I don't know if I had any real battles with any of the media members, Cam. When they've got a job to do, and the one thing I think I took some pride in was always making myself available and being there to answer questions when we won or to answer questions when we lost, and obviously as a coach to try and make sure that I wasn't pinning anything on the players, that I was taking responsibility for it. So the media was more than fair to me. I ended up getting fired that year because we didn't win enough hockey games, and we had a tremendous road record, but for some reason we couldn't win at home that year. And that's what happens in the game of hockey, in the business of hockey, is you can't blame anybody or look at this. And if your team is doing good things, the reporters are going to cover it. I mean, you've got a job to do, and you need to be critical when you have to be. You got to be honest about the game. But I mean, you cheer for the Blues. I mean, you want the Blues to be successful. The more successful the team in your community is, the better it is for everybody. I mean, they sell more newspapers. People watch more telecasts or broadcasts or podcasts. And to me, I can't remember ever having a real problem with anybody there. And I think they were very fair to me.
Andy, listen, I remember one game, or one time, I was at the Mizzou, Illinois basketball game with my wife, and Dennis Petrangelo, who used to run the building, he got me courtside seats. But there was 2 empty seats next to us, and we're just like, oh, no one's going to sit next to us the whole game. All of a sudden, you guys landed, and I see from the other end of the court and you were mad at me at the time. You were mad at me about something. And I just see you walking around the court, and it was like almost halftime, and you keep walking. I'm like, oh, there's Andy. And goes, you just kept walking, and all of a sudden, you just walk right to the seat right next to where I was sitting, and you end up sitting right next to me for this basketball game. But I was like, oh God, I'm gonna hear it right now. But you didn't. We didn't even talk about it. Whatever. It was funny at the time. But hey, listen, I got to ask you this though. Eric Brewer being named captain was one of the most surprising announcements in Blues history. I mean, when they made the announcement, because he was a lightning rod player, the fans were all over him. He got traded for Chris Pronger. The Blues didn't want to see Pronger go. Pronger's like having an unbelievable run at the time, taking Edmonton to the Cup final, then winning the Cup the next year with Anaheim. The announcements made, give us the real story. Break it down. How did you guys come to that decision, and were you expecting it to be met with any type of controversy?
Well, I think, Andy, one of the things there, we had Dallas Drake as captain there when I first got there. And talk about a guy that led by example and played hard, a popular player there. I mean, I still remember his hits, and today's game, you couldn't get away with it, but other team would be breaking out and they'd have a D-man wheeling behind the net, or pardon me, it would be in the offensive zone, and we would be defending. And Dallas was supposed to be covering a point, and the guy, their forward, would get the puck, and he'd be going behind our net. Dallas would leave his point, come down and meet him at the goalpost and run him over, run him over, flatten him, hurt him. I mean, he was a dangerous hitter, but led by example and so on. So the next year we actually didn't have a captain. We went with 3 assistant captains because we didn't know if we had anybody to step in and replace Dallas there. And then we went with Eric, and I know we met with management. We talked about it as a coaching staff. I think he was an underappreciated player in St. Louis. And at that time, we respected how he conducted himself every day. He was very professional, wasn't necessarily an outgoing guy, but I think his work ethic was a standard for everybody to follow. So that was some of the rationale for that decision, and played some good hockey for us, for sure.
Yeah, he dealt with a lot of injuries, too, in St. Louis,
He did, and that was kind of something that followed me a little bit in my career, were injuries to some key players and so on, whether I was in L.A. or in St. Louis there as well, too. So, but, we liked Eric, and he was a good player for us.
You did do one thing to Brew, though. I remember he came around the net one time, and it was the goofiest damn play I've ever seen in my life. He lost his edge. He flips up backwards, gains it back, and then falls back again and falls around on his back, breaking the puck out. You clipped that off and played it over and over in the locker room. It was so funny. And he needed to be he's kind of walks around a little. So it was a little humbling for him, and we all laughed for 2 weeks straight. That was pretty funny. You could have done that to me, too, don't get me wrong. But you did to Brew, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think right after that happened, Walt was in my office, and we picked the clip out and so on. And he wanted to make sure it was shown for sure. But yeah. No, Eric was. I know that was a bit of a controversial decision to some degree there, but I considered him a good person and a good player.
Yeah. No, I ended up getting to know him and really respecting him, man. He finished playing good hockey here in St. Louis and went on to Tampa Bay and played good hockey too. Hey, listen, a couple things. I always love watching your practices. I always try to learn something from your practices, and you always were willing to talk hockey. If there's ever a hockey question, you'd always answer the question. So I always loved talking hockey with you. But, you never really had cones on the ice. You'd always say, hey, listen, there's no cones in a game, so we don't need cones on the ice, So it was, I liked the way you approach certain things. But you always said you didn't believe in confidence. And I'm curious if you truly believed yourself when you were saying that, and where you stand on that now after coaching the younger kids, seeing all your own kids go through it and move on and have success in the game and all that. I'm just curious where that came from and how much you really believed in it when you said that.
Well, I think I firmly believed in it. That just the exact word confidence, and it can be, the word confidence can be different things. And I know in coaching and following, how many times have you heard after a season or whatever where there is a coaching change, And you hear players will say, coach didn't give me any confidence. He didn't give me any confidence. Well, what is confidence? Like, as a coach, can I take it off a tree or put it in an envelope and give it to you? How do I give you confidence? I put you on the ice. We try to give you a plan of action that you know your responsibility. Just go out and do it. And to me, I thought the word was an excuse too often. And I know not having confidence and so I call it believing in yourself. I just don't like the word confidence because I used to hear it as a negative all the time about coaches. You don't hear it as much now, but he didn't give me any confidence. He put you on the ice. He gave you a chance to play, and you got to earn it. I mean, when you play good, you should feel good. When you play lousy, you should feel lousy. What's confidence? So I just didn't know really what it was, Andy. And I know it's part of the game, but to me, it's a belief in yourself. I mean, play as long as Cam played and the job that he had. You had to believe in yourself. To fight some of the guys that you fought, Cam, and so you got to believe in yourself. And to me, you can say it's confidence or whatever, but to me, that doesn't give the player enough credit, and I think it puts too much responsibility on other people to give you that word. So I didn't like, and I hated the word momentum too. Like I'd hear coaches, and remember we had a Rams coach in St. Louis there that they didn't play very well, but they won the last 4 games of the season, and he was saying in a press, we got momentum going into next year. No, you don't.
The Rams?
No, you don't. Next season starts as a new season. The first game, the same thing in hockey. You'll hear coaches sometimes say, we got some momentum going right now. Or no, you don't. You got to play good the next game. If you play good the next game, it'll work. But it's nothing. Like, momentum is nothing. It's your belief and going forward. You can't live on momentum. You've got to go out and establish yourself and your credibility in every game.
So I think that was Spags, by the way. And then he would also, in post-game press conferences, be like, well, we lost by 40, but if we take away that 40-yard touchdown, that we're right in there.
Media guy would
you know what I mean?
Media guy would say that.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, you'll go down as one of the greatest short-term tournament coaches ever. Your success in international play. I got a couple questions I want to get into because you won 3 gold medals in the World Championships. You're a double IHF Hall of Famer and all that.
Yeah, baby.
But can we talk about? We had Mark Crawford on. And you're on the bench when you don't choose Gretzky for the shootout. Come on, Andy. I know you. Were you like, come on, are we really not choosing number 99? Like, what was the thought process going through your head at the time? And did you have any say or any input in that decision? Walk us through that in the 98 Olympics, right? Was that the 98 Olympics? Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Nagano where we had dominated every game in the tournament up to that point. It's probably the best Canadian teams ever played at the Olympics up to that point. And since then, in the preliminary games, usually Canada loses a game or whatever, and they got to scramble. But we hadn't lost a game until that semifinal. Mark was the head coach. He made that decision, which was a tough one. The ice, I will say, was terrible. At that time, we played the whole third period in their zone. And then we didn't go off the ice for overtime. We played right away through overtime. So the ice hadn't been cleaned. We didn't change ends for overtime. We didn't change ends. We spent the whole overtime, most of the third period in their zone. And the ice was terrible. So the shootout, the idea was the guys that came back, the first couple guys, Ray Bork was one of them. Theo Fleury was one, who were guys that were really good in NHL shootout competitions and all-star games and great players. And they said, you can't handle the puck. You got to shoot it. And so I think Mark's thinking in that particular case, one of the other great shooters on our team was Brendan Shanahan. He could shoot it. So the decision was made to go with Shanny, and he stepped in and actually tried to make a move and kind of lost the puck there. But I've been asked that question 1,000 times, and I can remember landing back when we went over on the charter to Japan, first time for the NHLers. there was a send-off there that was unbelievable. Thousands of people and cavalcades and so on. And then we flew back into Vancouver in the middle of the night, and there wasn't a person in the airport because we hadn't won. But yeah, that's a question that'll be asked forever there. And it's number 99, Wayne Gretzky. Don't you have to pick him?
Yeah.
So,
Kind of.
Although Shanahan
pretty good.
he had
I
over
mean,
600 goals in his
pretty good
career
player.
too. So I mean, it's not
real good player.
Yeah. But again, international competitions, 3 gold medals in the World Championships. Is there one team that stands out? And how much did you love those short tournaments, Andy, in terms of preparation? You know, you have the players' attention when it's just, you know, a handful of games, and you could really operate, you know, under the guidelines that you love to coach, man. You could kind of control the whole situation for that 2-week period, you know?
You know, it's kind of interesting, the amount of work that the coaches put in those short-term tournaments. I know I had a number of great NHL assistant coaches. Barry Trotz was an assistant for me one year. Gerard Gallant was an assistant another year. And I mean, you'd play a game, but you had a game the next day that you had to get ready for. So you'd be up till about 4 or 5 in the morning and going over the games and making sure everything's set and so on. And you know, the coaches just couldn't believe how much time we had to put into it. But it was a matter of preparation. Everybody's proud to put their national team jersey on, whether it's a Swedish team or a Canadian or an American. Everybody's proud to wear that jersey. So they're all ears, all ready to listen. And yeah, I mean, I certainly enjoyed every experience. One of the best experiences I had in my coaching career was in 2007 when I was coaching the Blues, and I'd come in at the second half of the year. We had a pretty good run, and I got picked to coach Team Canada, the NHL team at the World Championships. And we won the gold medal in Moscow. And I'm standing back, kind of, the players are all celebrating and got their gold medals on, and they're all swarming around each other. And one of our PR guys was there. And I saw he had a phone, and I said, "Can I borrow your phone?" And I called my mom from the ice in Canada there, and just, I said, "Mom, how great's this?" And it was one of the best feeling in life. She passed away that summer, but it was kind of a moment that I won't forget for sure.
Man.
Hey, listen, we got Kings fans listening too, so I got to get 1 or 2 questions about the Kings. Dustin Brown, you had him as a young kid. I mean, you had some great players: Rob Blake, Luke Robitaille, Zygmunt Palffy, Lubomir Visnovsky. I can never say the name, but some real talented players. But Dustin Brown, I mean, he's got a statue now outside, you know, the whatever they call that building there in Los Angeles now. I mean, what were your expectations for him as a young kid? Did you expect him to all of a sudden go on and receive that level of achievement, even though some people felt like, I don't know if he's worthy of a statue, but I mean, obviously they think he is, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, Cam, you must have bumped shoulders with Dustin at some point in your career, because
Same agent.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's another guy that hit through people.
He and Backus, man. Yeah.
Like you and Dallas and guys like that. I mean, he was just rock solid and a great competitor. I loved him, and you know, he's a great family guy, and he's into coaching now himself. If you get a chance, guys, and I would urge any hockey fan, if you get a chance, listen to Dustin Brown's retirement speech at the arena there when they had the night for him in LA. And I think it was last year. It was maybe the best farewell speech I've ever heard, where they're hanging somebody's number from the Raptors. He talked about his first game with the Kings. And, you know, we practiced in our practice center and went downtown to play the games. We didn't even have morning skates there. We just go downtown to play the games. And his first home game, he drove downtown, and I take responsibility for it. Nobody told him where to go for parking. So during the speech, he talks about the fact that he got downtown, went to the $15 parking lot, parked his car, and walked into the arena through the normal doors because he didn't know that there was parking or anything special there. And, you know, just kind of the innocence of his career and what he meant to the Kings, and, you know, being able to win the Stanley Cup and so on there. Yeah, what a fierce competitor he was. And just not a guy that spoke with a lot of words, but his actions on the ice carried a lot of weight.
Yeah. Hey, one or two more things for you. We'll let you go. And you've been great.
You've been awesome.
But listen, I remember sometimes like it'd be after a game, and maybe the Blues had a day off the next day, and like somebody would be like, "Yeah, Andy's like he's driving tonight to go watch his daughter play tomorrow." Like you were gonna drive all night long. Like you would do this often, where you would just like hit the road to go watch your son or your daughter go play a game, and then find your way back. But you did have a bad accident, right? And was it coming out of your LA career, or was it while you were still coaching? And I think it may have been your third year. Coaching with the LA Kings. I mean, how scary that situation was it? Because it was pretty serious, right? You had a bunch of broken ribs. I mean, did that scare you into not wanting to do that anymore? Because as far as I remember, I think you coached in St. Louis after LA, and you were still doing it, Andy.
Yeah, that was we had played the night before, and the Olympic break was just starting that year. I think it was 2004, was it? Or 2002, I can't remember. But yeah. I caught a red eye. My son Brady had a game with Shattuck in Madison, Wisconsin, and I caught a red eye in LA that night and got there about 4 or 5 in the morning and into the airport, jumped in my truck and headed from my home in Faribault here, headed down and down around La Crosse, Wisconsin. It was, pretty icy and so on. And there's a lot of big hills there. And I probably wasn't totally awake. And I hit some black ice and I could feel the vehicle going this way on me. And then it was going back. I tried to get it, but I couldn't. And then I could feel myself going over the side. And then the next thing I know, I can feel the truck flipping over and over and ended up down at the bottom. And the windshield's all smashed, but it's down flat, and there's a little bit of a side window that I could get out. I had to knock the glass out, so I kind of cut my hand up, because what's the one thing you see on TV when a vehicle rolls like that? It usually blows up, doesn't it? So I'm thinking I got to get out of this truck, and then I got out and I got partway up the hill, and a trucker that was behind me, fortunately, because it was pretty cold out, saw me go over, so he stopped, and then they got the ambulance. And yeah, I was kind of messed up with post-concussion syndrome and so on for a couple of weeks. And Dave Tippett stepped in as the head coach, and it's kind of funny, but they got word to Brady in Madison, because their game was at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I was going to go there. And all his teammates were surprised that I didn't get up to the top of the hill and hitchhike to Madison there, because I was kind of, if I was going to do something, I was going to be there. Yeah, so I did that in St. Louis, coming back off road trips or late night trips where we had the day off, and there'd be a Sunday afternoon game at Shattuck with one of the boys or my daughter, and I'd hop in my vehicle. And that's after Walt always abused my vehicles. He said, "You're an NHL coach, you should have a nicer car than that." And I'd just take off and get going.
What'd you have?
I'd come back late that night after the game.
What kind of car did you have, by the way? What was it?
It was a Toyota Camry.
Hey, I remember your Chevy Traverse that you had here. You tried to sell it to me after you were leaving St. Louis. You're like, "I'm trying to sell my Traverse if you want. It's a great car," and they are nice.
It's got 900,000 miles on it.
Yeah, cars were never a big thing to me. They are a little bit more now. I'm driving some nicer vehicles, but at that time I didn't care. I just wanted to get me to the rink. And fortunately, when I was in St. Louis, I had a condo at the Sheraton right by the arena there, so I could just walk across the street.
I love it. I do got to say one thing before we go. I when you did get fired, like I had a comment in the paper. I think it was a Big Dan O'Neill. I don't know what the hell I said. Something stupid, and it didn't even makes sense. And it kind of blew up in St. Louis. And I remember the next day, didn't even know. And my dad calls me, and he goes, "What the fuck did you do?" I go, "What?" He goes, "You are getting bashed by the whole city," because he listens to everything. He's sitting on the back deck listening. He goes, "What'd you do to him? What'd you say to him?" And I kind of didn't understand what he was talking about. And then I figured it out what I said, and I felt so goddamn bad, and it just was embarrassing. I'm a fourth line guy. I'm the one that says something stupid at the end of that whole thing, and I just want to apologize. The whole city got me for 2 weeks. My dad wanted to kill me. I just want to say you were always good to me, Andy, and I apologize for that, man. I had to get it out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Cam, I appreciate you saying that, but to me that was it didn't really bother me. It bothered some other people. I think you said he uses some words that I can't understand or something like that, which is probably true because I tend at times to go overboard. But yeah, no, I mean, respect for you as a player and what you're doing now, that one didn't bother me too much at all. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that because, you really, as a coach, you care for your players and you want them to be successful. In fact, I think I read that comment. I'm thinking, I think it was 2 days ago when I was in a meeting and they said, what do you want to do with Cam? And I said, yeah, I want him to get a new contract. So I kind of backed you up.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
This guy, he's so disrespectful.
So disrespectful. That's ridiculous. Thank you, Andy.
Hey, are you watching a lot of NHL hockey right now? Do you watch games? Like, who are you watching?
Well, here in Minnesota, obviously every one of the Minnesota games are on. And then when Dean was coaching here, too, it was being a former player of mine, I enjoyed watching Dean. Yeah, I mean, I watch games. I don't necessarily watch whole games now. My son's an assistant coach at Michigan Tech, so okay. I'm kind of a nondescript assistant coach. I tell everybody, even though nobody there would admit to it, I enjoy watching their games. And then my daughter, Sarah, left her college head coaching job and has come back to Shattuck here and is running their under-19 team. So I'm at the rink every morning. They practice at 6:45, so I'm there with my coffee cup at 6:30 every morning to watch their practice there. So yeah, watching, I follow it, but I don't necessarily watch whole games anymore. Pull for the Blues, pull for the Kings, Minnesota here. It's the state team, and then being from Manitoba, I'm a Jets fan as well too. So yeah, just I kind of pinch myself every so often, guys, and you're watching all these great players and the games on TV, and you're actually saying, did I actually coach there? Like, was that because as time goes by, you kind of forget about it and that. But yeah, to me, I was just so fortunate. I've had so many breaks as a coach and given so many opportunities and all the chances to coach Team Canada. I've had more opportunities than one person deserves.
Yeah,
you've had a great career, Andy.
And you gave Ray Bennett a great opportunity years ago, man. This guy's
Love
still
him.
Coaching in the NHL. Yep. He's a Stanley Cup champion. So, you took the city by storm, man. You were very popular when you first got here, and then getting the team back into the playoffs. JD was doing his thing from a marketing standpoint, taking over. That was new for him. It was just
grow with us.
It was a very interesting time to be around the St. Louis Blues, but I look back on it, man. There's a lot of great memories, and it was a fun time. I enjoyed covering you, I really did, and you know that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. One of my best feelings or things that I enjoyed the most. I started having them take a team picture with our team, and everybody that worked for the Blues. If you remember, Cam, all of the people that were selling tickets in the marketing office, handling the suites. I had them all come out and we took a picture with them. And to me, the pictures mean a lot to the players and their families. But for those people to be in the team picture and to really feel a part of the team, that hadn't been done before there. I mean, I can still see them looking at that picture. And I was a part of the St. Louis Blues. We changed, when guys used to bring their cars in, there's a way you could come into the rink the back way. But there's another way you could come where you walk through the office area where everybody was working daily. And I encourage the guys to walk through the office and kind of just say hello to everybody because they're part of our team too.
Little things like that go a long way. Way.
Hey, Brady Tkachuk was playing here the other day. I went to the suite to go say hi to Big Walt, and Chantel was in there, and the daughter Taryn was there who's home from college. And Mike Caruso came in, and I told them that I was having you on the podcast, with Cam. We were going to have you on. And Mike starts talking about, he's like, Mike used to send me the text in the morning. He's like, Andy wants to see you. I can't tell you how many times. And you'd have my story in your hand,
I love it.
Who told you that? Why'd you say this? But so hey, that helped me grow up too, man. It's all part of the maturation process.
We're all mature now, Andy.
I wouldn't have had it any other way, honestly, man. So thank you.
Look at where you guys are now. You've all obviously followed the right steps.
Hey, appreciate you coming on, Andy.
Hey, happy
Keep
holidays.
Doing your thing. Enjoy your life, man. And Merry Christmas, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep listening, by the way.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Appreciate it. See you, Andy.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, Andy. The Chemistry Podcast is brought to you by Bellman. BEHLMANN. Bellman Automotive. Located where?
Troy,
Missouri. Buick GMC on one side of the street, right on the other side, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the winter. All right, that was Andy Murray.
I love Andy.
Breaking it down.
He was so cool, man. I know he's probably like overly cool, just to like, because I know he listens. It's funny, like, we'll interview people and we'll be, hey, you listen to the pod? They're like, yeah. And then Andy Strickland will always like counter, like, oh, what episodes you like? And Andy Murray goes, I'll tell you what I like. Yeah. He goes, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, oh boy.
He knew.
He heard Bergie. He heard everything. He heard all the podcasts, and I love that. Mm-hmm. And so, like, he's just chilling, and I don't blame him because I would do the same thing.
He's tight with what's his name, who just got fired by the Wild. Too.
Yeah, Everson.
Yeah, Dino,
who we love.
Yeah.
So Andy Murray was totally cool, man. He even like complimented me in a mini way, as far as like doing speaking arrangements and stuff like that.
Oh,
like, yeah, and I'm like, oh,
I didn't even hear that.
You weren't paying attention. If it has nothing to do with you, you're not paying attention. That's fine.
Oh my God.
But Andy really pumped my tires up.
Yeah.
And
hey, I learned a lot from Andy.
I do.
And Andy knew that I loved coaching and being involved in hockey, man, and he really was helpful with that. And he's just a hockey lifer, man. This guy loves the game. He would coach today if somebody offered him a job, probably.
He looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Looks
he looked
great.
the same. He hasn't aged much. He looked good.
His daughter's coaching.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if she's playing with I don't think she's playing with the Wilderness.
Now, his computer might have been shitty, and he looks kind of shitty on his computer. I don't know how it's going to look.
I meant to ask him about this. Do you know that?
It looked terrible.
No, I meant to ask him because, like, he's very tight with, like, Switzerland, like, hockey. Like, I think, coached over there. His sons played over there. His daughter played over there. His daughter may have coached over there now as well. His daughter's coaching college hockey now here in the States, in Michigan, where he's at. He's got the whole Michigan, Minnesota. He's got a house now in Florida. That's where Andy Murray is like changed a little bit.
He's Florida, baby.
That he's able to escape.
Yeah.
And be okay with escaping and just chill in Florida for a little bit and get away from everything too. So
yeah, why wouldn't you?
He used to bring the entire team to his house in Minnesota. Did you have dinner at his house one time on a road trip?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? You were probably in Windsor or something that night.
I know. St. Ada.
You weren't out. You didn't go to it?
In the Windsor Star. Like, hi.
Hey, but very, very smart coach, very detailed. And I'll tell you what, man, in terms of where the Blues got to, winning the Stanley Cup, there's like a process of getting there. Like if Craig Berube had to take over the St. Louis Blues at the time when Andy Murray did, like he's not a Stanley Cup winning coach. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and that's a challenge. If Ken Hitchcock had to take over that group at that time, it presents a completely different challenge.
Right.
So he had to do a lot of the dirty work and the hard work for a lot of these other coaches that got rewarded by getting these guys either when they were developed and mature NHL players, or when Doug Armstrong already moved a bunch of them elsewhere to bring in some different players.
Who didn't work out as far as the young guys?
They all worked out.
Every one of them.
All of them.
So Andy had a part of that. 100%. Fucking Perry to Osh. Bergie was fucking good. Like, don't get me wrong. Bergie played fucking 800 games.
Yeah, I know.
Like, come on.
Exactly.
Lars
Eller.
Ian
Cole.
Lars Eller's a Stanley Cup winner, and he scored the Stanley Cup winning fucking goal.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty good.
Ian Cole.
Look at him. He still played.
Two-time Stanley Cup
winner. Damn right. EJ to, who am I missing?
Osh.
Oh, yeah, they all figured it out.
Petro. Dude.
Who am I missing? I don't remember. We had a fun team, man. Fun team. A little too much fun.
They chose you over Dwight King.
Yeah, DJ. I love DJ. It's my boy. Fuck. Man, here's the difference between
DJ. What's DJ's name? Dwight was his brother.
Dwayne, baby. That's Dwayne King. That's my boy. He's a cowboy up in Saskatchewan.
Well, we probably have a lot in common.
DJ King, I love you, homeboy. I follow you on Facebook. I like all your stuff. I love you, dude. Cute family. DJ King. And we were competitive with each other, but we were good buddies. That's what makes it cool. Like, if you're competitive with somebody and you want to take their job, but we still were really good friends. Dwayne King, awesome.
Yeah.
DJ, tougher than dog shit.
He was, man.
God, I love him.
He may have had bigger hands than you.
And Dwayne King caught Derek Bugard in the nose.
Yeah, he did.
In 2009. And that was started the downfall for poor Derek Bugard because he broke his nose
Really?
and he went to the hospital and got painkillers. I watched a thing from 10 years ago on Derek Bugard. His daddy was on Sportsnet and had a hour-long interview about what went down.
And he mentioned that fight?
No, but he broke his nose, and I know that was a fight that
Wow.
Bugard broke his nose,
Okay,
and that was in
that's
St. Louis.
interesting.
And I watched that whole thing. It made me cry.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
it made me cry. Derek Bugard and Aaron Bugard and the Bugard family, I
Yeah.
love you so much. I watched it. I don't know why. I was just sitting there,
yeah.
and I just had to
We
watch
should get
it.
Aaron on.
I know. No, he messaged me.
Let's talk to Aaron.
I know.
Love to do that.
I want to talk to him about that.
Yeah.
I get it, man. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. So,
All right. Listen. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. I love you, Andy, dude. I do.
And it's
Sometimes I want to bag you up. Sometimes you make me mad, but it's all fun and games. It is.
we love all
If
our.
anything happened to Andy, I'm the first one to stick up for him, just so everybody knows.
Mm.
If anybody did anything to him, I'm his fucking bodyguard. So I get to chirp him.
Hey, we went viral again, by the way, during the break. Interviewing Gretzky after
Good.
Bedard did the Michigan. Remember that?
Oh, that was sick.
Bedard does the Michigan.
Andy's interviewing Greta.
We already had it planned to talk to Gretzky during the game. And then it just so happened that Bedard does the Michigan before we talked to him, dude. The timing could not have worked out any better.
Can I give one more
And
shout out?
Chaser was out there too, man.
Can I give a shout out?
Yeah.
Kelly Chase, Andy and I love you. We talk to you. You're doing damn good. You're tougher than dog shit, and we know it. And he's had the balls to go out there,
Let's go visit him.
not feeling the greatest, not looking the best.
Mhm.
And he went to fucking Enterprise Center and said hey to all the fans
Yeah, you did.
because the fans wanted to see him, even not at his best. And he did that. And I know he wanted to get the fuck out of there, but he
Yeah.
did it for the fans. I love you. We love you.
And you know what?
God damn.
I had a great time. It's funny, man. I hung out with Will and Ben in the suite because
That's Chaser's kids.
because when I interviewed Gretzky,
Yeah.
Chaser was in there, so
I know.
got to see Chaser and all that. But so his two older boys, Will and Ben, were in there. We shot the shit, whatever, and then ended up seeing them after the game at OB Clark's.
Yeah.
And then Luke, the youngest one, he was there too, man.
Handsome motherfucker.
Great kid.
Love those kids
They're
so much.
hilarious, man.
I
All
love
those kids, man. I've known them since they were little kids, and to see them now, like
What Chaser's going
in
through,
their
just so
20s,
people
dude.
don't know.
and they're doing great, man.
Chaser was just so people, if they don't know,
Yeah,
he's got
leukemia.
leukemia.
Yeah.
And Chaser's tougher than fuck, and we're rooting for him, and the whole city's behind him. And Andy went up there and interviewed. He was going to interview Chaser too,
Chaser didn't want to go on camera,
I
which
know.
is completely understandable.
but then he did.
But then he was okay. So we'll do that again. And even his sons were probably like, "Hey, maybe
I
it's best to
know.
do it later."
I
So
know. So we're rooting for him.
We'll do that eventually.
So we just give a little shout out.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about you
Yeah.
guys. So
First Form, as always, brings us the Cam and Strick podcast.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed this interview with Andy Murray, man. Again, Andy
bam,
holds a special place, man,
bam, boy.
in blues history, really. You know, this guy did a lot.
He did.
And loved getting into it. We could have gone 3 more hours with
Yeah.
Andy Murray.
I know.
So great having him. And Andy's probably fueled by First Form.
He looked like he was.
He looked like
He looked like he was fucking
yeah.
young.
Are you doing First Form, Andy? Is that what? Firstform.com/Cam and Strick. That is our link. Use our link. Get that protein powder. Get the meat sticks. Get the energy drinks. Get the gut health. Get the heart.
Get
medicine,
everything.
get
Become
the
a better
apparel,
person.
Become a better man.
Live longer.
and woman.
Good for you. Good for you on that. Because I would have just said,
Cam. Nobody's a bigger fan of the PWHL than Cam.
no.
No, that's okay.
See, that's where you.
No,
now
it's
you put me
okay
on,
to say that.
You put me on the spot now. Now you.
Because
now
I'm a
gonna
fan.
Be a dick.
Lauren McInnes plays for Ottawa. So
That's
does
right.
Jinsey Dunn.
Jinsey Dunn.
Jinsey Dunn
Shout out.
Rose.
Little shout out, girl. What's up?
Jinsey Dunn Rose.
And Jinsey used to work out with me and Pat. Remember I told you when I worked out with all the shit kickers
Mm-hmm.
in St. Louis, all the pro guys, and Nanny would show up and be like, I'm going to talk
Hey.
to everybody in the same fucking gym.
Yeah.
Jinsey would show up and actually work out with us and not be like an Andy and talk all the time. She got shit done.
You know, she
She's tough as
scored
shit.
the game-winning goal in overtime in the U18 gold medal game against Canada, too. She played in the Olympics.
She's a
Been on the ice
badass.
with her countless times. I know her brother Joshua extremely
boy,
well.
yep.
Her sister Joy was
Josie.
coaching her a few years ago when she played for us. They are all awesome. I know the parents extremely well.
Yeah.
I could not be more proud of all the Duns.
Yeah.
You know that?
We're rooting for them, dude.
Yes.
In every way possible.
Yes.
The women's league to everything. I chirped the goddamn WNBA. That's it. No big
Yeah.
deal. I chirped the WNBA.
Well, you got to stop doing that because I take offense to that.
I don't give a fuck.
No, because
they're cocky. Okay, just don't be that way.
Is Bee Gees documentary out yet?
That's the only reason why they had any
I couldn't find it the other day.
I know. You'll be okay. We'll get it to you.
I mean, the lockdown.
Why don't you give them some of your money?
Well, the lockdown.
Why don't you divvy up some of your money?
The lockdown defense.
How dare you keep all your
money? The lockdown defense I'm seeing in these WNBA games is amazing.
Donate to the league, Andy.
Do you know that Jinsey Dunn, Rose, she was a 1997 birth year. She used to play with Keller and Matthew Tkachuk and Luke Kuhn, and she quarterbacked the power play with them when she was younger.
I bet.
So I'd let her talk to the kids on the ice.
I know. Don't ever ask me again.
Know.
Jammer, I love you. Don't ever ask me ever again. Don't even ask me.
The Illinois Recovery Center, 888-743-0971. If you need to get in touch with somebody, man, you have a safe place to do it right here.
You know who we're talking about.
Yes.
There's somebody in your family.
Yeah.
Get them to Eric Conley. Get them to goddamn Chrissy Pondoff. We're going to dinner with them, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Get in touch with them. They're not aloof to what the fuck's going on.
Correct.
You think they're like, well, what do you mean by that? Like if I'm struggling, like, oh God, help me. And I went to Andy, like, Andy, God, I'm so fucked up with pain. And he'd be like, what's going on with the Blue Jackets? I'm like, no, I'm talking about my struggles. Those guys they're gonna be like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Here, come in here. We'll talk about your insurance. I don't give a fuck if you live in Canada, Sweden. Get here. We're gonna take care of you.
Goudreau's playing a little better, by the way.
Good for him.
And Fantilli, I like Fantilli.
I like Fantilli a lot.
I like
him a lot. I do. I like the USA winning too, baby. And
What's
they
up,
sang
USA?
the national anthem
Yes, they did.
together, like fuck yeah, singing the national anthem, proud of where they were fucking born. Just like the Canadians, just like the Swedes. They afterwards when they win, they're proud. They're not like, oh God.
Hey, IIHF, NHL, let's get Russia back
100% get them
are
on.
People gonna chirp me for that?
No, dude, we're not heading that out.
Like
no.
You market all these Russian hockey players: Panarin, Buchnevich, Ovechkin, Sergachev. I can go on and on and on.
Okay.
They're all
Are
Kucherov.
you kidding?
One of the best players in the world.
Are you kidding?
And you market these guys and celebrate them as being a huge part of your league, but you won't let them in your league tournament.
Well, Putin.
Come on now.
Putin in Ukraine, baby. Sort that out.
Let's sort it out.
Peace.
Let's sort it out.
We want peace.
But I want these Russians, man. There's too many great superstars. If you're going to have an international tournament or a mid-season tournament,
you're right.
I want to see these superstars participating.
Yep. They have nothing to do with it.
So we got to figure out maybe each of these countries, Switzerland or Finland, Russia, USA, Canada, maybe they have a draft and they get to pick draft Russian players and bring them on their team.
Good. Yeah, but they're not going to do that because
I'm just saying.
They're staunch on what's going on.
And maybe they do pick a player from the PWHL to play for them and a Russian player.
That's a stupid thing to say, Andy. See, that's where Andy confused everybody because he thinks everybody's equal.
No,
Andy thinks that he thinks everybody's equal and they're not.
Hey,
and we have to establish
put
that.
Hillary Knight net front.
She couldn't keep up.
No,
I don't. Now see, this is where I get
net front.
She couldn't keep up with the pace.
Kendall Coyne could. Kendall Coyne could. And her husband's an offensive lineman, so she probably could.
I'm just gonna stay
probably
away. I'm not even.
Probably knows ball too.
I love everybody. It's fine.
I'd like to talk some ball with her and Marts.
I'm just letting you know.
All right. Tesson Roofing, shit kickers, TessonRoofing.com. Brett Tesson, happy New Year to you, man.
Yeah, baby. Love
Thank you all your support. Get that Nano Shield. You need that new roof, man. Now is the time to do it. TessonRoofing.com. SparksHockey.com. Don't waste your time at the hockey shop. Get a Sparks, SparksHockey.com.
Simple,
Use
baby.
our promo code Cam and Strick. Don't let Seth ruin the tournament.
Sniff underwear.
Enough said.
I'm
I know. I'm trying to avoid that.
Can I just say
the
tell
bones,
the people
what he's doing to terrorizing the neighborhood, all of that. Bellman and Bellman.com. At Bellman, you get no
swinging dicks.
No, but everybody gets approved. You get sushi, you get flavored water, best customer service. Buick GMC on one side of the street, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram on the other side. Get yourself set up in time for the winter.
I love all you guys.
Yoink.
Yank.
Yoink.
Love you. Love
Yoink.
you.
Yoink. All y'all. Maddie, Half Coast Studios, baby.
Maddie, baby, what's up?
Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Follow us on all our social media channels, man. But again, if you're listening, why not watch and listen at the same time? Yeah, baby.
Love you guys.
2024. Lots
Fucking
more
A.
to come. Great interviews coming your way on the Chemistry
Love you
Podcast,
guys.
baby.